Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Smite Prime. We're live with the November Circuit Week 1. Y'all already know me. My name's Morty. We've got Jithens, Rosie, Billy, and Test Die behind the scenes, and right next to me here in the booth is a rather passionate piece of papier. It's Spirited Book. How we feeling, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, more excited for, look, it's the last, Smite Prime of the year, and I'm really excited to be here. Excited to celebrate just Smite 2 with everyone. Really excited.
So this is week 1 of the November Circuit, our last circuit of the year of 2025. Your last chance this year to win that grand prize of $7,000 along with 125,000 diamonds. And we've got a giveaway right here on the Smite Prime Twitch as well.
Yeah, make sure you go over to Smite Prime, in particular, twitch.tv/Smite Prime, and you'll be able to type, I believe it's, hashtag giveaway in the chat of TTV/Smite Prime, and make sure it's TTV/Smite Prime, not Smite Game, because everyone gets fooled by this. And you'll get a chance to win the Lil Thanatos Cupid skin.
I love that skin. I love that skin so much. I love how these devs just cook up the awesomest skins. It really makes that diamonds prizing worth winning because it's an awesome prize, like something like this, right? And as we move our way into the brackets here, Book, you are our resident comp player of the Smite Prime team, right? I know that you're in the know about some of these teams and everybody moving around. And now that it's a new month, a new circuit, there's definitely some new teams on the horizon here. What are you looking at? What stands out to you?
Yeah, the monthly roster apocalypse has once again hit. 3 teams are the only ones that stick together. It's Clocked In, Smite 2 Bad Boys, and Retirement Home are the only teams that really stuck together. Everyone else is a new face. Excited to see what these new rosters really bring to the table. Societe has reformed into a new roster called the Hebrew Verses, and that's going to be featuring Briz in mid now, and Jisoo over in the jungle, Remakami in the solo lane. So that's definitely going to be a roster to look out for, and still Wrong You and Golden in the duo lane.
This is very nice. I also heard about Cherry moving over to support. That's pretty interesting to me. Barrow moving over to carry now that he's out of that team, along with Sunprod's College Fund Crusaders. That's a crazy cool name. I love that. Sunprod's trying to pay for college here. This is not just for Smite skins. This is for a child's education here. this is worth fighting for. So I love that idea.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. And this is like a lot of new changes in general. Like I think our last circuit's team kind of split up as well. Snatty is going to be on a new roster on the Glurp roster in particular. Tuba, Moods, Sync, and Valo and Snatty are all going to be teaming up together, which is exciting. There's just tons of new rosters to keep an eye out for. And all of it comes down to is, can these teams make the proper changes to deal with the unstoppable force that is Clocked In? Once again, your champions from last month, they have just been continuing to dominate, and this team just needs to be challenged, and the roster changes are why they're trying to do that.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that Clocked In has stayed together as a team, not just the same name, but also the same roster all across the board. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They've been running Smite Prime for a minute now, so I think they're going to go after another 7,000 before this whole Smite Prime thing concludes for the year. I'm excited to see them go at it. I'm excited to see how these newer teams try their hand at maybe taking down the big dogs.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's honestly the likes of Smite 2 Bad Boys that I think we have to keep our eyes on yet again, because they kind of fell off a little bit towards the end of last circuit. I think a team that was so good just kind of started to fall off towards the tail end.
Alrighty, we're going to make our way into the first game of the day. This will be the Smite 2 Bad Boys up against Glurp.
Yeah, and once again, this is a new Glurp roster. No Benny Q in the mid lane. It's going to be Sync there instead. Moods joining in the support role. Valo, I think, still in the jungle, I believe, from last season. And Snatty, joining in the soul lane, obviously. Across the way, Smite 2 Bad Boys, they keep the exact same roster. John rowing once again in the soul lane. Scream in the jungle. Moswell in mid. Aurora in support. And Donut Dug in ADC. And, this is, again, a team to watch. Smite 2 Bad Boys are a top team. Let's see if they can continue going into November's circuit.
And, I'm really excited to watch this one because we talked about this a little bit before the game, how now there's the moonlight phase, or what do y'all call it, the bedtime phase?
It's bedtime.
But that really rewards mobility around the map. It's kind of like a short period of time where you need to get to so many places to get all of those moon rocks in. And Scream really benefits from that because Scream just seems to be everywhere. Scream's kind of just all over the map. I don't really ever trust the dot that Scream's, God is on the map. He's just kind of everywhere. So that he's definitely going to take advantage of the fact that, okay, I need to go here, I need to go here, I need to gank a lane, I need to do this. Like, there's so much you need to do in such a short amount of time, and very few junglers can handle that pressure like Scream can.
Yeah, I think Scream really in particular has done a good job of kind of adapting quickly to this meta. I think, as I mentioned, struggled towards the tail end of October, but I think going to this November circuit, he's had a bit more time on this patch. He can really kind of get an idea of how he wants to run things in the jungle, especially because where the jungle puts pressure on the map is so important right now with the Moonlight phase. I think rotations are so important. We see a whole lot more scrapping in the early game. And I feel like this is where these two teams are going to kind of lean on in terms of their drafting, is leaning on that early game, leaning on important, strong lanes. The Uller is a character we saw really rise to prominence in the ADC role in particular. Just high pressure mid mages, Merlin, a character that can kind of scrap at all stages. So just already these teams just likely going to lean a little more towards this scrappy playstyle. And we haven't even touched on it yet, but Iset also available, but is going to be banned away. So we won't see her in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see her sometime throughout the day.
Yeah, I'm sure later on she'll come around. And also new to the roster as of recent, Osiris, who will be joining us in the fight, the first pick for the Bad Boys. I'm sure that's a John Rowing pick.
Yeah, probably. It could be a Scream pick as well, depending on what Glurp decide to lock in as their top two. But, kind of saw John Rowing in ranked the other day, and he talked about how, Osiris, Bellona, and Jormungandr every game, man. It's Osiris, Bellona, Jormungandr are the top three soul laners by a mile. And sure enough, that's exactly what Glurp answered with Bellona. If Osiris is the first pick, you have to answer with Bellona because easily Osiris could flex to the jungle and you just slot Bellona in the soul lane. Or we've seen Scream play Bellona before, so Glurp have to take that one away.
I really like the Ares pick coming in. That's going to force some relics away from the side of Glurp. That's a really big beads forcer indeed. And then Uller is somebody who can capitalize on the fact that they don't have Aegis. They're going to grab beads because Ares is right there. So there's no way to get rid of that massive amount of damage that Uller can put out in such a short amount of time. Osiris is also there for some consistent DPS. Now, what we need, Ares is good. Ares is a good way to start the fight, but we need ways to lock down from there. I'd like to see a little more CC on the side of the Bad Boys, and they would be looking really good for this game one. Achilles joins the fight on the side of Glurp along with Anhur.
Yeah, I mean, just, you mentioned it, Smite Bad Boys, the Ares Uller, just high pressure in that duo lane. It's kind of what we talked about, how, you need to be scrappy in the early game. But yeah, I mean, the Anhur answer from Glurp is nice too. Early pressure is so important. We've seen so much of this Baron Somedy as of late, and I really am surprised Aurora goes for this Ares in particular. Especially so early. I feel like the nerfs to Ares has really hurt his ability to be effective in team fights. So many characters have displacement immunity abilities that just can avoid the way that ultimate works. So across the way, Glurp, they don't really draft that because of the Agni ban. I think that would have been the answer is, stick the Agni in the ADC role, but instead going to lean on more CC immune based abilities. And Achilles is the lock-in here for Glurp. I imagine that has to go to Valo in the jungle, which, only Tagveer is the player. Tagveer is the only player we've really seen, take out this pick and really lock in the Achilles jungle. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and also because I think Bellona really belongs in solo lane right here. She's got disarm on Scourge, so that can take away Osiris from just nailing in basics. That's kind of what Osiris is, right? So I really like Bellona sitting in solo. Achilles goes over to jungle. The team comp for Glurp is coming together pretty well. I guess that's Baron support because we see Poseidon join the fight over there. That looks like a pretty nasty team comp. I see a lot of big burst damage on both sides. Bad Boys might have a little bit better of engage and lockdown, but still, I mean, this looks like it's going to be a very awesome team fighting phase once we get there.
Yeah, I really like how Smite Bad Boys really round out their last two picks. You have the early pressure side lanes of, Ares, Uller, and then Osiris in the solo lane. We need a bit of initiation somehow because Ares isn't the best form of initiation. He kind of wants to go in secondary now. So what do we, decide to lock in the jungle? It's a Thor. Great way to initiate off the walls, off the ultimate. And then Yanis as well, just high mobility mage that can really rotate off into your lanes that have pressure already or that want to scrap. So I love the way that Smite 2 Bad Boys have really rounded out their team comp, in that having a mid 2v2 that can just rotate to side lanes with global pressure. Across the way, Glurp, I love this Poseidon lock-in because Smite 2 Bad Boys, yeah, they have some CC immune ultimates. They have ways to avoid this Kraken Whirlpool combo, but they also have a ton of mobility, and Poseidon just absolutely destroys your mobility. The Yenis, I think, for Moswell is really going to struggle in this early mid game, and Glurp as a whole have a composition that wants to get scrappy. Achilles jungle on her ADC. Poseidon is the ultimate scrappy mid mage. You know, Bologna just wants to run at carries. It's just a great composition across both teams.
All right, let's take our way into the game. The Bad Boys up against Glurp, and it's going to be an awesome way to start the November circuit. This is Morty and Book in the booth. We've got Tess Dye, Rosie, Billy, and Jithens behind the scenes, keeping the lights on for us, and man, this is going to be exciting. The music hits, the main characters are on stage, and where do you think this is going to be going here?
I imagine this will likely be we've seen a bit of scrapping around the mid gold's team gold that spawns, you know, at 0 minutes now. And so usually we see a lot of these 5-man groupings. Doesn't look like Glurp wants to group for it, but you can already see Smite 2 Bad Boys. They're grouping on this left-hand side, though could look for a level 1 gank here.
As they're making their way in to maybe invade on the jungle. Looks like Tuba's going to be walking back because he sees them ahead of time. But look at that. I mean, look at Bad Boys still walking forward, maybe looking to go past the tier 1 and try and find Sync. I don't know what their game plan is, but I like this early aggression.
So I like the way that they've just kind of grouped, use that early vision that the Curios wards provide for them, stay as a 5-man grouping, because you don't really want to fight as 5 just yet if you're Glurp. And so Smite 2 Bad Boys take full advantage of that with the Ares, with the Uller. Their level 1 is really strong. You know, get some early ward pressure, know where the jungler is going to be starting, and then just grab the team gold and walk away. Go and start your own camp. So look at this. Valo is in Scream's jungle here, but Scream is able to spot him out. So they know where the Achilles is starting now, at least.
As Valo is going to be going for this red buff on the side of the Bad Boys. Scream doesn't want to give it up free, though. Valo's going to seal that away, and let's see if he makes it out. No real crowd control. I mean, Scream doesn't have the wall just yet, so Valo's going to be able to walk to his side scotch-free.
Wow, that's really bad, because now Moswell and Scream, their buff timers are offset from the rest of the farm on their own side. And this is going to allow, you know, Sync and Valo to continue to free farm their own jungle, also keep good mid pressure because of the Poseidon Yanis early matchup here between these two characters. Poseidon just should out clear Yanis in the early game. This is, you know, they've kind of set themselves up for another potential re-invade here once that buff respawns. I would love to see Valo and Sync just immediately, as soon as that red buff spawns, go back to it again, invade it again, start to put pressure on this mid 2v2 that really just kind of wants to scale a little bit. Yanis not effective in the early game the same way that the Poseidon is.
Dude, we're already seeing 90 basics from Tuba. Ow. Aurora took a lot of damage there, but thank goodness for the pots. He's able to sustain that through and connects with the chain as well. Bit of early game trading over there. No first blood potential so far, but once maybe Valo shows up on left side, that could change the tides of the battle here. But just a bit of neutral farming here. Like you mentioned, it's going to let Sync and Valo do their thing while Scream tries to recover from a bit of an XP deficit.
Yeah, and he's going to do that by trying to invade here. You can already see Valo is on his left-hand side farm, and likely this call-out has been made by Sync that Scream is running to the back right-hand Harpies, and you can already see Valo on the way here.
A blink in, beats forced out from Scream as he hammers over the wall, and Sync's on the chase, but I think he's a bit too far to really catch up and do anything. A relic force from both junglers here.
Left-hand side, we see a bit of scrapping here as we see Tuba jump in. Just get a bit of poke off there. But yeah, I mean, great play by Scream. He knows that his own jungle is kind of being invaded here a little bit. So just tries to take away a bit of farm from Valo, gets himself a bit of farm, heads back towards the Manticore on the right-hand side, gets himself a bit of experience as Doug, getting lower here, is able to walk away.
Ouch. That looked a little painful, but he's going to be A-okay. Both members of the duo lane on the Bad Boys side are forced to go back and heal up and then make their way back through the teleporter. So that's a little unfortunate, but they're not going to be down too bad. Thank goodness for those teleporters on the lanes, and they'll be able to farm back a little bit better. But it definitely looks like Moods and Tuba are controlling things on the left side. But I'm kind of wondering how right side is going to be going, especially now that Valo's here to show up to John Rowing. Combat dodge goes in, able to find a stun, but the beat's forced out from Rowing is going to let him walk away, but around the corner, Snatty hitting the slow. But Rowing's able to follow up with a cleanse. Took a lot of damage, though, down to a couple hundred health, but that's going to let them go towards those firebrands on the right side and get those scotch-free. Scream's not even in the area.
Scream is over here on the left-hand side, and that's why we see Doug and Aurora able to pull off this invade here. And I love what Scream has done. Despite his red buff being invaded, he knows that he can't really contest this second red buff that's going to spawn. As on the right-hand side, John Rowing in a world of hurt. First blood going the way of Valo.
Eagles rally in, is going to find the stun and lock down Rowing. Moswall might be next, but he's going to back away and give up that red buff for free. Like we said, Scream is on the other side of the map and looking to do some invading rather than defending his own camp. So it looks like Scream and Valo have kind of found a bit of a neutral standpoint, if you will. You take your camps, I'll take mine.
Yeah, they've just kind of, changed sides almost. Scream is now farming the enemy jungle. Valo also farming the enemy jungle. And I think this is honestly fine. A great play by Scream, honestly. He knows that red buff's going to be invaded, so he immediately heads to the left-hand side and just says, all right, we're not even going to contest our own red. Let's make sure we get our duo ahead, invade this enemy purple buff here, as Scream does use that ultimate to get out of the enemy jungle here. And I will note, though, Scream does not secure the enemy speed buff, despite Valo securing Scream speed buff. So a bit of an offset still going the way of Valo here.
As two low health bars sit in the solo lane, Snatty and Rowing both very low, down to a couple hundred health, but looks like Snatty's going to play it safe and go back to base. Rowing about to do the same as well. Look at Valo walking into the jungle, trying to find a stun on Scream. He's able to find a combat dodge in, waiting for that fatal strike, but the hammer is going to take Scream to safety under the tier 2 tower. Looks like Valo might make his way towards duo lane and maybe try and find a flank here. Great knockup from the Disperse on Aurora. And looks like Tuba's on the chase. No escapes out, but it will not save his life. Tuba is down. Amazing kill there.
A bit of a miscommunication there between Tuba and Moods. Tuba actually pushes Aurora out of Moods' ultimate, the Baron ultimate. And so kind of was a bit of an oops moment, but thankfully Valo's rotation there allows them to get their second kill. And look, Smite 2 bad boys, they're mid 2v2. They kind of want to farm just a little bit, but already Glurp are just putting on the early pressure. They're kind of putting their foot on the gas here, but this is actually already a great answer back by Smite 2 bad boys. A lot of members of Glurp have just backed, and this gold, Glurp, they don't know. They have no idea that this is happening.
The 5-man rotation of the Gold Fury at 5 minutes in is going to let them grab that objective early on. That is massive as we now hit the nighttime phase.
Yeah, everyone's going to go to sleep here in a few minutes. No one's going to bed here just yet. But yeah, this is a nice look for Smite 2 bad boys. I think they're aware that Glurp's, early pressured, their ability to scrap early is just so nice that 5-man grouping is there to just secure the Gold Fury, because we talked about it before we kind of started up our cast for the day. The way teams have been playing around this Moonlight phase is by securing that Moonlight ritual, using the Nagas that are pressured in the lanes, and immediately rotating towards the Gold Fury, with that free pressure in the lanes. But now Smite 2 bad boys, they're, I think, okay giving away this Moonlight ritual to the Glurp here, because they don't have to worry about an early Gold Fury going the way of Glurp. And they can kind of just, sit back and farm a little bit. They can allow the Yanis to scale just a little bit more. Likely going to wait for the 2-3 item spike before Moswell can look to be active in fights. But once this Yanis gets a few items, they can start to hit.
Speaking of hitting, look at the damage that Valo's putting out with the combat dodge. That was more than 300. As he blinks in, finds the sun through the shield bash, and follow through the Kraken. Sync finds a kill. Down goes Scream. Rowing looking for revenge, though. Able to hit the 2. Rowing still on the chase. Through space and time comes Moswall, looking for the stun on Sync, but he's barely able to get out with just a sliver of health. Moswall still on the chase, though, diving into the enemy jungle. But will he pay for his greed? Yes, he will. Snatty able to find that kill on Moswall. Down go 2 for the bad boys, and Glurp are up a bit of gold there.
Moswell just has red in his eyes and chases that one to the back camps. I don't think that's the play there, because now you're a Yanis and you're not able to, spend this time farming and scaling there. The risk versus the reward, I think, just is not worth it in that moment. And Moswell just ends up taking a spill as well here. And that's 2 beads down off the carries of Smite 2 bad boys. Both Scream and Moswell have these important relics down that you kind of need up against this Glurp composition. We already saw that Whirlpool Kraken do so much work there in that last fight, in that engagement there. A sick blink stun by Valo, by the way, to start that engagement.
Oh, yeah.
But now, you know, Smite 2 Bad Boys, they got to be a little careful here, and we'll see an ult for ult trade here in mid, but Snatty does solo kill John Rowing on the right-hand side.
Bit of an exchange happening here in duo lane. Donut Doug takes a lot of damage with the Desert Fury, and now on the run into the enemy side jungle. Can he find a safe escape through there? Scream trying to maybe separate them, but into the air he goes. Is he going to dive back in and find a kill? Will he dive to safety? We'll find out in just a moment. Diving to safety, playing it safe, and hopefully Donut Doug gets out as well. Valo still on the chase, though. Fatal Strike brings him forward. Not able to find the stun, though. Great wall from Scream, and forces the Aegis away from Donut Doug. The fight still continues here in middle lane now. Aurora hitting chains.
Aurora!
To find that lockdown through space and time. Does not connect, but Kraken connects on Aurora. Looking for some burst damage, and looks like Aurora's in a world of hurt. Down goes Aurora. Sync able to find the final touch of damage. Follow around the corner. Really hitting hard here. Love to see what Glurp are doing in these early game skirmishes.
John Rowing rotates here just to cover the option here. Gonna look to try and make a play onto Valo here. He's getting lower and lower by the second.
John Rowing still continuing the chase, though, but doesn't want to dive under that tower. I cannot blame him. We're still less than 10 minutes in. He's not that tanky. That could end in bad way, especially with moods around the corner. But we're going back to farming here. 9.5 minutes into this game, and Glurp have a bit of a gold lead, about 3K more or less. Even though Bad Boys have a Gold Fury over them, the kills and the farming from Glurp have just been on top of everything. And look at the right side here. Queen Naga just showed up to play.
Yeah, as we'll see Doug put a bit of aggression here on this left-hand side, looking for Tuba. It's just non-stop action on the map here. An ult for Axe trade in that moment. Scream still hovering here, though, around this purple buff. As Moods will check him here.
Moods gets good damage off. Snatty's able to take down Rowing on right side. And Scream's going to have to hammer away to find safety. Man, Snatty is looking good over there at solo side. John Rowing just can't handle the pressure. I mean, we talked about that being a counter matchup early during picks and bans, how Bologna just kind of takes care of Osiris. You're not able to hit basics when you're disarmed, and that's really what Osiris relies on, right?
Yeah, at least in this early game, and this is kind of a bit of a great play by Glurp in terms of Snatty, as they will pull this Gold Fury. Smite 2 Bad Boys on the way.
Let's see if they can try and steal it, though. 2,000 health on it, down to 1,500. And Glurp is melting that Gold Fury quick.
Wow.
No way for Bad Boys to even respond. Aurora was the only one in the area. He didn't have Sunder online. Just unfortunate for the Bad Boys. And Glurp able to find one over their opponents. Now up, it looks like about 4K gold. That's a pretty good way to be.
Yeah, it's just the snowball is just getting a little out of control here. Smite 2 Bad Boys, they got to take a stand somewhere here. But I mean, we kind of touched on it, the gold lead. Yeah, sure, it's great. It's around 3,000, now 4,000. But that experience lead, look at the level gap between Snatty and John Rowing. And part of that is because John Rowing rotated on over at the 5-minute mark for that Gold Fury, made sure his team got it. And what was Snatty doing? Invading, putting pressure on this right-hand side, just free farming here, just continuing to snowball on this right-hand side. Has 80 stacks of the Devourer's Gauntlet already at the 11-minute mark. Snatty is in suddenly such a great spot to outright just carry this game.
And John Rowing might be falling here, stepped up just a tad too far, and Valo takes him down with a combat dodge. Snatty there to help as well, and maybe one more hit on the Firebrands will make sure that Valo can maintain that lead that he has over Scream. Yeah, Glurp are looking really good right now. I love to see how they're kind of taking control of the game, but what do you think is next for them? Do we keep going for Gold Furies? I mean, Fire Giant still has some time out, but Pyro might help here?
Yeah, I think it's Pyro here. I think you're kind of just, you know, taking your time. You can allow Valo to just continue to rotate to these side lanes, secure your own farm, sure, and continue to honestly gank John Rowing if he steps up like he just did to at least the halfway mark of the lane. John Rowing just so far behind, though, in this lane. I don't know. This is just a little bit of over-rotating. We've seen John Rowing rotate to mid, these halfway marks a couple times, looking for plays, and it's cost him so much experience in gold in this lane that I don't think he can rotate for a few minutes now.
Aurora able to hit the chains. The portal falls as well. Big damage going through. Down goes Follow. Scream's able to find the kill. No escape. Follows. Kraken's in. Pulls 2 through the no escape, but not much follow-up from Aurora. The Bad Boys on the retreat now. Glurp pressing forward. Donut Doug takes down Tuba on left side for a solo kill. And looks like the fight's at a bit of a standstill here in middle. Looking for some poke damage on Snatty.
Yeah, 2 items completed here for Moswell, so he is starting to hit here on this Yanis in a really good position all of a sudden to start pumping out damage. Huge solo kill on that left-hand side for Doug is going to allow him to just free farm here, push down this tier 1 tower, likely take it here in the next couple of seconds. And that's why Moswell's hovering on this left-hand side, as is Scream, just looking to, create a bit of just jungle presence in the enemy jungle to allow Doug to just whittle down this tower, takes away the purple buff as well. So John Rowing, yeah, he's far behind, but the rest of the team and the rest of the map is still getting a lot of farm going their way. Moswell even, Doug with a level lead now, Aurora even, Scream even, despite, losing that initial red buff at the start of the game. I feel like Smite 2 Bad Boys, yeah, they're down, but look at the gold lead all of a sudden. It's only 2,000, not even 2,000.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was so much heavier just a couple minutes ago, and Bad Boys seemed to have found some footing just through different means. I mean, a couple kills, definitely a massive shutdown there. I really love to see what Bad Boys have been pulling off here. It feels like they're down, but they're not down and out. You know what I mean? Like, they're maybe on a bit of a deficit, but I'd never want to rule the Bad Boys out, especially when Scream can just make some gnarly plays happen out of nowhere once the team fight phase rolls around. And speaking of team fights, I mean, I'm looking at this Bad Boys comp, but I'm not exactly understanding how this team fight works out optimally for them. How do they start team fights, and what's the follow through?
I think it just has to be Scream. It's either a wall or an axe stun from Donut Doug that you're just kind of hitting someone exactly like that and looking to all in them as Aurora on the way here. Oh, doesn't commit though.
Valo's on the retreat. Moswell still chasing through the jungle, but the rest of the Bad Boys aren't feeling that chase. We'll back things up instead and maybe look to find some pressure on this tier 1 tower that's still full health, but surely a bit weak. I mean, now that the Bad Boys have a Gold Fury up, it's not weakening structures just yet, but I mean, they've got some levels under their belts. They've got some items. That tier 1 tower might fall quick if they want to put some pressure on it, but instead we're waiting. Gold Fury's up and the Moonlight has just descended.
Yeah, and both solo laners rotating on over here. Aurora.
Oh, massive no escape, pulls 2. Down goes Sync. Aurora finds a kill, but the fight continues from here. Valo shows up, and the fatal strike will take down 1. Scream's able to find one of Valo as well. Life of the party's out, and Snatty trying to put the damage out and find whoever looks at him funny. Donut Doug takes down Tuba on the left side as well for another solo kill. Looks like we'll see some split push on left side as Bad Boys try and fend off Glorp here in middle.
It's a 2-for-1 trade in mid, and just a free kill on the left-hand side for Doug is going to allow him to take down this tier 2 tower as well. Level 16 to level 13 for the Uller on her matchup here. Doug is feasting on this left-hand side. Yes, Snatty's ahead. Yes, Snatty rotates to mid to try and impact that fight that, for a second there, actually looked kind of good for Glurp. But I mean, what an ultimate from Aurora, just pulling in 2 members in that moment. Moswell has the follow-up there right away. You can see he's already working towards this Ratatouille, these early power spikes on the Yanis, just in such a good position to pump out so much damage in this early stage. He's second top of the player damage at this, 16 minutes in, not something you see often from Yanis. And the top is Snatty, and we talked about how big of a lead Snatty has. He's a solo laner. He's just, boxing, free farming here on this right-hand side. To see Moswell second top of the player damage, at this stage, this Yanis, I don't know, man. It is in such a good position all of a sudden to outright carry going into the mid-late game.
Because now we see the beacon come through in middle lane. It looks like Glurp are going to maintain control of that easy peasy and just kind of get all of that XP, all of those little moon rocks, and definitely take advantage of that situation. Bad Boys not able to really fight them right now, not with the grouping, the way things are going. Donut Doug still split pushing left, Rowing still farming up and right, and Scream needs to catch up on jungle camp. So there's no way for Bad Boys to really group up and fight this. Glurp just can take control and maybe make their way towards Gold Fury as well.
Yeah, John Rowing still split pushing on the right-hand side here. This is going to be a free Gold Fury, but Smite 2 Bad Boys, they'll secure themselves the Moonlight Ritual here in mid at least.
That's definitely a good thing. I don't know if it's worth more than Gold Fury, though. I guess we'll find out as the game goes on. Gold Fury goes down. Tuba finds the final bit of damage needed, and the Ritual is going to go the way of the Bad Boys.
So that's something, and it's about what they can get off this map pressure from the Nagas that are about to spawn, as Pyromancer will go the way of Smite 2 Bad Boys, but Glurp, they're on the hunt here, and Fire Giant is available here. They're continuing to group as 5, but I can't imagine they'll pull just yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hefty Fire Giant. I'm sure they've got the damage for it. Good wall will lock down Snatty, force the Eagles Rally out, but no Relic Force. At least the Eagles Rally is out, though, and that kind of stops Glurp's pressure from what could be the Fire Giant. Now they're going to have to back things up.
Love what Smite Bad Boys are kind of doing here. Despite being down in gold, well, actually now they're ahead in gold, which is kind of crazy to talk about. You know, they're kind of just forcing Glurp to group as 5 and respond to what Smite Bad Boys are trying to do, which is just, you know, kind of hover around objectives. We, you know, they go to Gold Fury, we'll do the mid ritual, and we'll go to Pyro. But Fire Giant's right there, so Glurp have to respond to this right-hand side. This has allowed the Naga on the left-hand side to push pretty far. There are no towers, though, at least for Glurp to really worry about being taken on this left-hand side. But I don't know. Smite Bad Boys, man, they're just kind of starting to fight back and snowball here.
And Moswall jumping in through space and time is out into the air. Scream goes, looking to start this fight. No Escape pulls 2. Moods finds Rowing. Down goes Sync. Aurora finds the kill. Scream goes in and takes down 2, but the tier 1 tower should fall as well. And Valo by himself in middle lane, looking to fend off what's left of the Bad Boys, as there's some split pushing going on in the side lanes as well. Glurp are just losing on all fronts right now. Bad Boys back things up. They grabbed what they wanted and now go back to farming.
Man, it's just a sick engage there from Aurora, and Moswell's right there with the follow-up. Scream as well with the Anvil of Dawn. I mean, we kind of mentioned, like, how do Smite Bad Boys start a fight? And I kind of said, well, it probably should be Scream, or it should be, you know, Doug's axe from a distance, but it's Aurora just going in, using the No Escape there with the ultimate. The beats are just not been that great here from Glurp so far. The way they've used their ultimates, their CC ultimates, the way they've used their relics, Aurora is consistently pulling in members that really should just be able to immune these ultimates, and it's worked out for Smite Bad Boys beautifully. The fact that Scream is able to go in secondary engage and CC members on the backline with the ultimate, Smite Bad Boys have just had a field day of diving the members of Glurp.
And you know what I really love is this Ansile pickup from Aurora. He's able to hit that No Escape and then keep any follow-up from coming, or not follow-up, any type of counterplay, right? As soon as he hits that pole, your next ability that damages the gods silences them. There's no way for them to counterplay that. I mean, there's no way for an Eagles Rally to come through for Sandy. There's no way for a multitude of things to happen because the Ansile proc keeps them from counterplaying. Once you're pulled, you're pretty much dead.
Well, not only that, I think this is actually potentially the next step here for Ares as a character, you know, going towards this Ansile. Because once you use that ultimate, they can't use their displacement and Unity dashes, as Moods gonna get picked off here by Scream and Doug.
Big stun hits from Donut Doug. Into the air goes Scream, and Bad Boys are looking to start this fight. Moswell takes down Moods. Down goes Scream, looking to find some safety, but the rest of the Bad Boys press forward on the right side. Glurp is on the back foot, maybe looking to catch one out. Aurora by himself, or so Glurp thinks, because around the corners, the Bad Boys just waiting for Glurp to press up just a tad too far. What the heck was that?
I mean, that's just, you know, Scream and Doug sitting in the enemy jungle waiting. Moswell following up from a distance with that, you know, through space and time, finding Moods on his own, just so low, and then ends up getting picked off there by Moswell towards the tail end. But no one else dies, and Glurp, they're still 4 men strong, trying to contest this Pyromancer, but great wall from Scream will take him down here more than likely, but a great out.
Massive stun lands, and Snatty extremely low on health. Glurp on the back foot now. Another big stun from Scream. In goes Donut Doug to take down Snatty. And on the right side, the lonely Tuba fighting for his life, but there's no fight to be had. Donut Doug finds another kill. Down goes a third. Sync is in the grave, and looks like Scream's heading back into the air. Maybe looking to press on the back foot, but we could retreat and go for an objective instead. Maybe Fire Giant's the move.
They are going to take a reset here first. Some important items to likely back here before they decide to go towards this Fire Giant. 3 members dead, though. Maybe the likes of Smite Bad Boys could have just outright pulled that Fire Giant. But, you know, with the characters that they have, Yanis and Uller not really known for the objective damage. And, you know, still trying to snowball here. I think they're actually going to pay attention over to the left-hand side. They're looking for the Gold Fury.
Ooh, that'd be smart. That'd be very, very smart. And I believe that's an Ancient Fury as well. So maybe they want to split push on left side.
Valo.
Think about it. Donut Doug took down that tier 2 way earlier, but around the corner is Valo. He doesn't have a Sunder, but he does have a Blink and a Shield Bash. So maybe try and steal that Ancient Fury away. It's down to 2,000 health. He's waiting on the jump. What can he do from here? Shield Bash goes in. Can he find the steal? and Donut Dog's able to secure that Ancient Fury. Valo fighting with his life, though. Shutdown goes towards Valo. Donut Dog is dead. And that's a great way to at least take advantage of, hey, there's a vulnerable body
Fire
here.
Giant.
Valo will surely pay with his life. Down goes Valo. Mozball finds a kill, and the rest of Glurp make their way towards Fire Giant. The only one being around is John Rowing.
John Rowing's here. The rest of the members of Smite 2 Bad Boys are on the way, but it's going down fairly quickly here.
The fight unfolds, turning face and going towards John Rowing instead. No escape is out. The stun lands on 2 from Aurora, and John Rowing still fighting. Aurora takes down Sync, and John Rowing trying to take all that damage, but he's just not tanky enough that he's able to take him down. Down are 2 for the Bad Boys, but Scream shows up out of nowhere. Tuba is dead. Scream on the retreat now. Got the burst damage out and makes his way out of there. Bad Boys still press forward, though, and chained up is Snatty fighting for his life, but the knockup from the Xerxes won't let Snatty fight back. Scream goes back and looking for Moods in the back line, trying to wall him off, but we're not chasing under that tier 2. Instead, we're going to pull back and maybe find some XP elsewhere.
Still no pull towards that Fire Giant. Smite 2 Bad Boys are happy to take their time and continue building their leads. Level 20 on Moswell and level 20 on Donut Doug, but still working towards some important items here. Great fight by Smite 2 Bad Boys. Scream shows up just in the nick of time to bail out their support in that moment. And, you know, Glurp, they're kind of really struggling here. They have so many CC immune tools, but it still feels like they just don't have enough here. You know, Magi's here for Valo, a team beads for Moods, some beads for both carries, and it's still just not enough to avoid all the CC that Smite 2 Bad Boys have.
It has been a hell of a fight between these two powerful teams. Here at the 25-minute mark, it's 15 kills towards the Bad Boys, and Glurp are down. I mean, they had a 4K gold lead just about 10 minutes ago, and now it's 8K towards Bad Boys. They've come back in a big way, but I wonder what the next move for the Bad Boys is. What keeps them ahead, and what puts an end to this game?
I think they're going to look towards this Moonlight Ritual because the Ancient Fury is, debuff on this left-hand side is still there on the Phoenix. You get this, Moonlight Ritual, the Nagas push down and threaten this left-hand side. Someone on Glurp has to respond, and that is going to be Smite 2 Bad Boys go button here to look towards this Fire Giant more than likely, as they are grouping on this right-hand side. Probably still looking for picks, though, while they can.
It has been a great fight from the Bad Boys. While they might not have started off so strong, it's looking good here. Zona Doug finds Tuba on the right side. The stun lands. And Tuba might be dead here, but reinforcements arrive. Mood's able to hit the roof, hit the stun. Consigned Spirits doesn't land, but Scream's around the corner to take down Tuba. Moswell finds Moods. Down or 2 for Glurp. They press up right side. Maybe that tier 2 tower could fall.
Tuba holds his ultimate and his beads there. It doesn't feel great, beadsing the axe when there's just no immediate follow-up from anyone else, but Tuba takes a spill with both his CC immune abilities active, and that's going to allow Smite 2 Bad Boys just have a free objective here. I feel like Glurp, they're going to try to... No, they can't contest. There's no way Glurp can contest this Fire Giant here. It's just going to be free for the Smite 2 Bad Boys.
Scotch-free. Free 99 Fire Giant going towards the Bad Boys as they continue their reign of dominance across the battleground of the gods, and Glurp trying to maintain footing in this game because it's not over yet as the Moonlight Ritual looks to go to way of the Bad Boys, who now march their way towards Ancient Fury and look to take that off the map as well. Yeah,
and again, the Phoenixes and the towers will be, debuffed, so the Nagas that spawn with the help of this Moonlight Ritual, those Nagas could do a chunk of damage down all 3 lanes as Moswell does get looked at by Snatty in mid, gets taken fairly low here, but still gets out with his life intact, and more importantly, his bead still intact as well.
Objective after objective for the Bad Boys. Ancient Fury now goes their way, and Glurp just can't seem to find a way to get into these pits to try and fight. And look at the gold lead that's resulted in it. That's a 13K, 12K gold lead for the Bad Boys over Glurp right now. They are over.
Yeah, this is a tough one here for Glurp, and they had such a great lead in the early game. Valo, started off the game so great, invaded this red buff, and honestly, I think part of it comes down to Glurp just lost momentum at the wrong time. Valo purchased this Reaper, the item you want to be snowballing it with, and just hasn't found a lot of purchase with it. Has continued to die ever since purchasing it, so lost a lot of those max stacks. it has just been losing momentum at the right time for Glurp, and Smite 2 Bad Boys have fought back into this game beautifully, just waiting for the right items to come online for the important carries. Second of the top player damage here for Moswell, still on this Yanis. He has done so much work here. Snatty has done his best here for Glurp, but still, a Bologna can't 1v5 in this game against Smite 2 Bad Boys. They just don't have an answer.
No answers found. I guess they didn't study well enough. And at 28.5 minutes in, the Bad Boys up a whole lot of gold, up 5 kills over Glurp, and they've got 3 Gold Fury tokens under their belt, along with a Pyromancer. They still got Fire Giant buffs and Ancient Fury debuffs on Glurp structures, especially that left side bird. I mean, everything looks to be aligned for the Bad Boys. They've got every tool that they need, but look at a fight on right side. Moswell and Valo by themselves on the right as the rest of the Bad Boys group up towards this left bird, and Glurp, the rest of them are trying to defend that left bird. But let's see how the exchange goes from Moswell and Valo on the right, but now they split up here, and looks like the push will continue on left.
Moswell did use his ultimate there, as Moods is in a lot of trouble here.
Moods takes a lot of damage. Eye for the party's out. Immunity coming through for Rowing, chasing through the back line, just trying to distract as the rest of the Bad Boys put pressure onto that bird. Rowing might have stepped a tad bit too far, though. Snatty still trying to push off the Bad Boys. Rowing took a lot of damage there, but he's still alive. And a bit of exchange and damage, but no kills found just yet. Aurora goes in and finds the no escape. He's able to find the pole as well. Big stun. Massive portal. Moswell takes down Snatty. Glurp have just lost one, and Scream takes down another. Sync is dead. The Kraken won't save you today. Scream continuing to jump in too, but doing everything he can to try and fight back. Moods on defense mode as well, but the bird will fall on the left side. Will the Bad Boys continue their push forward after the mid bird fell as well? This could be endgame. Big stun lands through the axe. Moswell takes down Moods, and this could be the end of days for Glurp. Moswell finds a double, follows in the grave. Tuba is dead. The deicide has gone through, and the game goes to the Bad Boys.
Smite 2 Bad Boys get themselves back into it in the mid game off of a huge early game lead from Glurp, and it just was not enough to close out that game. Smite 2 Bad Boys, man, they looked a little rocky in the early game, but they look back in form going into the mid game and late game. So excited to see how they progress throughout the day.
Incredible game that we'll go into a bit more detail through in just a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Smite Prime, week 1 of the November circuit. My name's Morty. I'm joined here by Spirited Book, and we're going to talk about what we just saw a few moments ago between the intense matchup of the Smite 2 Bad Boys against the Glurp team.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was just Glurp all in the early game. They had the lead. They had the experience lead. Snatty was up like 5 levels at one point. And then Smite 2 Bad Boys, it's just Aurora and Scream working together to just pull beads in tandem with each other. Donut Doug just makes a hero play multiple times on the left-hand side, gets himself so far ahead on this Uller pick, and just is able to snowball, takes the tier 1, the tier 2, gets his team back in the gold department, and in terms of the lead. And then it's just Moswell in the late game. The Yanis just did so much damage to the point where there wasn't much Glurp were able to really do about it. Their gold lead didn't mean anything. Snatty was just, he was ahead, sure, but finally it just became an even playing field for the Smite 2 Bad Boys versus Snatty, and the rest of the Glurp team were behind.
I was a little worried in the early game, even during picks and bans, that Scream picked up on this Thor. And you don't see Scream with Thor very often, but I kind of forgot. Scream's got a god pool. He just kind of plays whatever, and he just goes nuts regardless of what god he's on, and he really showed up and showed out here. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else hit that many ult stuns than Scream did this game.
Yeah, definitely an improvement from the Vegas land where he just missed every single Thor ultimate. But yeah, I mean, Smite 2 Bad Boys, they look good, and Scream is just, he looks so much more comfortable this week compared to last. I mean, even this game, he was invaded at the start of it, kind of got pressured out of a lot of his own jungle and just counter jungled beautifully. He was just on the right timers, in the enemy jungle, taking away stuff from Valo, but also making sure he's securing some of his own farm where he can. And look at these kills, man. I mean, 0-7 on John Rowing, and still is able to make an impact in the mid to late game on this Osiris pick. I mean, Smite 2 Bad Boys as a unit just looks so good right now, man. I'm excited to see as the day goes on how this progresses, because they clearly do have some flaws that can be exploited by other teams. Obviously, they need to work a little bit more on their early game, but outside of that, I mean, they look pretty good.
I think this is something I'm not really used to seeing with Osiris. I feel like we didn't get a chance to talk about it. He picked up the aspect, and we'll take a look at the bracket right here and see who we're going to be looking at next and how the rest of the teams fared. Yeah, but the Osiris aspect, I feel like we didn't really get to dive into too much, and definitely contributed to how that last game went. We'll see the next games going forward here. Knicks Kids versus Clocked In, Steel Team Snakes and Retirement Home. Oh, Flucus is a new one, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. And they'll be taking on the Smite 2 Bad Boys. And we know you're something, and then Prod's College Fund. Yeah. But we'll be taking a look at SEAL Team Snicks versus Retirement Home. And Retirement Home, one of those teams that kind of has stuck together from the last circuit. That's the Fine OK, Yarkor, Pagon, Running Around, and Solar Troll team. SEAL Team Snicks is a bit of a newer one with some old faces, so to speak. You know, you got like Dest, Drunk Diplomat, Hostile Puppy, Snicks, obviously, and Snooze over in the Soul Lane. So this is kind of a matchup of, you know, old head SPL players versus maybe the young guns.
And Snooze has been talking about getting his way back into Smite Prime for a minute now. Let's see how the OSL team fares. We make our way into Picks and Bans Retirement Home versus SEAL Team Snicks. I'm excited to see how this goes down. I'm a big Snooze glazer. I'm a big fan of Dest as well. I mean, there's a lot of power hitters on this right side. Drunk Diplomat, definitely a bit of a sleeper pick, in my opinion, as far as carries go in the game, as far as like the top carries go in Smite Prime. It's Smite in general, you know what I mean? Even the ranked demons, some of them don't make their way here, but there are some goats out there, let me tell you. But I mean, think about it. Fino, who's definitely not new to the game, but a bit new to this role. Kind of wondered how he's going to fare against a big dog like Drunk Diplomat.
Yeah, I feel like Fino K has kind of shown a bit of his weaknesses in the carry role so far. He's kind of shown his inexperience here and there in terms of maybe kind of leaning on some builds that aren't the most effective in the moment, some picks that maybe aren't, you know, the most ideal in the moment. And across the way, Drunk Diplomat will just run at you from minute one. He'll pick the Euler. He will run at you from minute one and just not allow you to play the game and not allow you to breathe. And when you are a bit of an inexperienced player in a role, you can really struggle against players who just kind of show just so much aggression in the lane. I'm excited to see, though, if the likes of, you know, Running Around, who's still going to be effective on the Mercury, if he's able to pick up characters like that and still just create pressure globally, as well as Pagon. I mean, I'm excited, man. This Retirement Home team has looked really good. It's been off and on here and there, but overall, they've been really good as a team. And Osiris first overall tells me that's likely going to go to Solar Troll, who has just been really phenomenal on this team so far.
Osiris goes towards Sot, and on the right side, that looks like Eset and Odin hovering for SEAL Team Snicks. I wonder if this is a pretty safe response as far as solo lane goes for Snooze, trying to match up against Sot here, or maybe this Odin pick goes towards Snicks in the jungle. That would be pretty dope also.
Yeah, I think this Eset can also flex as well to mid and support. I'm not entirely sold on where her best position is just yet, so I'm excited to see if this is an Eset mid. I would love this to be an Odin jungle, and you just compare these big AoE ultimates around team fights. I feel like these two can work really well together, especially because Eset, I feel like she was at it at the right time in Smite 2, where early pressure is so important in mid lane and just in general on the map. She just has so much early pressure in mid in particular, and the wave clear is fantastic in the early game. Her late game falls off a little bit, but she's still going to be an objective secure pot with that big ultimate. I feel like SEAL Team Snicks have got a good first two, but Retirement Home across the way, Osiris, Yamoja, Jormungandr here. This is some of the top gods in their roles. Osiris likely going to be going to the jungle now that Jormungandr's been picked up in the soul lane.
Okay, so we're going for the AoE comp. with Snicks. I like this though. Don't stand here. If you stand here, you're dead. And you can kind of spread that distance pretty far with how much AoE is on the side of Snicks. Think about how much space you can keep up. That's like literally the entire Fire Giant pit if you want to spread out the Lightning Storm, if you want to spread out Sunbreaker, the Odin Cage, Eset as well. You just kind of cover so much space with all of that AoE put together. It's going to be hard for Retirement Home to operate without keeping mind of where their footing is. But I mean, they've got a lot of mobility on their side to kind of keep track of that. So you've got the flick from Merlin, you've got the jump from Uller. I mean, the World Serpent, Orm can just kind of snake out. He does the rainbow thing where he just moves around the map. Yamoja also has the Whirlpool to try and save her life. Osiris has a jump with his ult. A lot of mobility on the side of Retirement Home to make sure that they don't get locked down in these spaces for too long. But a lot of good team fighting on both sides. A Thanatos pick. Spicy. This is going to look like a fun game, dude.
Yeah, it's Thanatos for Snicks. I mean, Snicks loves this character, loves to try and play the snowball style in the jungle. And against the Osiris, I mean, I feel like that's not the worst idea, having an execute bot against this beefy frontline that Retirement Home have. But man, I look at this Retirement Home draft and I see this looks like a casual game, man. These are some of the top picks in their individual roles.
Alrighty, let's dive into the game here and take a look at Retirement Home up against SEAL Team Snicks. This is Morty and Book in the booth. We've got the whole Smite Prime crew running things behind the scenes and subbing in mid lane. That's Slayer.
Oh, yeah, Slayer's going to be in here for the mid lane. I kind of heard rumblings of this, of Sue Slayer being back in Smite Prime. So no Pagon today. It is going to be Sue Slayer in the mid lane against Dest on the Merlin. And I mean, I kind of touched on it towards the tail end. Retirement Home, their draft is just some of the top gods across the board. Osiris, a top soul laner, a solid jungler. Jormungandr, one of, if not the best soul laners. Uller, probably the best ADC, as we'll see a fight around this team gold.
All five on both sides here in middle lane, maybe looking for first blood potential. Both teams believe in their early game potential. In goes Sot for a huge knockup. Will they find one? Yes, they will. Snooze goes down. Yorkor gets the kill. That is a great way to start things for the Retirement Home, as SEAL Team believed in that early game damage, but I guess it just didn't follow through for him.
Sot started aspect on Jormungandr. Can we see what Solar Troll started in terms of visibility real quick? Because I do believe that he started the 3, if I'm not mistaken, and that was their engage for that fight there. Great play from Solar Troll in that moment. Yeah, it starts the 3. That knockup just being extended with the help of the aspect. Shoutouts to that, Solar Troll. But this does mean the laning phase and his buff clear won't be as good as, say, Snoozism, who you can already see is in that lane.
I do like him investing in the team fight, though, because this definitely looks like it's going to be a game, like, I mean, most games for sure, but definitely this one oriented around team fights. That's what SEAL Team's going for, is a strong team fight, and Retirement Home is trying to fight fire with fire by investing in their team fight, and that starts with this Yorm aspect.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, just more CC for the team that kind of has some decent CC, sure, but not the best lockdown. As left-hand side, a duo kill here for the likes of Retirement Home. Hostile Puppy and Drunk Diplomat taken down by this aggression in the duo lane. Yarkor and Fine OK on Yamoja Uller is just disgusting so far.
As another kill goes to the way of Retirement Home. They've got 3 now, looking very, very good. And the blink was forced away from Snooze on the right side. Meanwhile, here in middle lane, running around, chasing down Des, diving into the tower, running around, able to find the kill. And Snicks is just a tad too late to the party, as Slayer is able to take down Des. A lot of damage coming through for Retirement Home, and pretty early into the game, too.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot of mobility on the side of SEAL Team Snicks. I mean, this Zeus is just going to get caught out whenever Sue Slayer running around dash forward aggressively. Solar Troll also has great gap close. This Zeus is going to really struggle in this game.
Yeah, I'm a little, I mean, I understand it with the ult, right? I think in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to team fights, I understand Death's pick on the Zeus, but when it comes to laning like this, I think that you just hinder yourself pretty far with no mobility. I mean, you've got a movement speed buff. Other than that, I mean, you don't have any dashes or leaps or anything. And is the early game damage through Chain Lightning really going to help you out that much? I don't know.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because Merlin was open. And Merlin would have fit beautifully with this comp. Merlin also has a ton of AoE damage. He also has some escapability and can play safe in this lane. Can also play aggressive like we just saw from Sooslayer. And that's great because you have a Thanatos jungle who wants to play aggressive early. I agree. I'm kind of a bit of a loss for words on this Zeus pick, especially because you see the other side and it's Jormungandr, Osiris, and Yemo. And Zeus never gets to play in a game like that.
Yeah. That's a pretty fair point. And I was really hoping maybe I'm just not a ball knower, right? Maybe our mid lane specialist book here would know what the ball is here. But if you don't know, then I'm truly shocked now. So I'm not understanding what we'll see, but I guess we'll find out as the game goes on. That lightning storm would be nice. Speaking of a bit of a lightning storm, bit of a storm happening on the right side. Look at running around, just chasing down Snyx. Axe after sickle, down goes Snyx, and running around might be paying for it though. Snooze gets decent damage off with the 1-2 combo. And maybe looking to find the chase, but here comes Slayer. Now Snooze is in trouble. The stun lands through, and Snooze is able to get out of there. Wow, that was close, but invading on left side, Fino takes down Hostile Puppy. That is bad news.
Yeah, unfortunate here for SEAL Team Snyx. I mean, just so much aggression from this dual lane of Retirement Home. They have Yemo, Uller. They can just run at the purple buffs, run at whatever they want here on this left-hand side, and there's not really a whole lot SEAL Team Snyx can do about it. The Hou can play safe, sure, but this E-set awfully vulnerable to the lockdown that Retirement Home have. A lot of, abilities to disrupt that one from the E-set, which is her best form of mobility. I feel like Hostile Puppy is really going to struggle, and Snooze on this right-hand side, going to get solo killed by Solar Troll. Just individual lanes just owning here for Retirement Home so far.
And that is... it's kind of the price you pay when you pick up Odin in solo. He's meant to be a safe pick, and maybe not the safest because he's down 2 deaths already. But you're not going to be able to fight back against somebody like Yorm. It's especially with all the early game damage, even with the aspect that takes away a tad bit of damage. It's hard to face up against a World Serpent, right? So I understand what Snooze is going through right now. Let's hold it out. Let's hold on to what farm we can. And once we get towards that 25-minute, 30-minute part of the game, maybe we can fight back a little bit better.
Yeah, but this is really putting the late game to the test here. I mean, you are down 0-7 at 5 minutes. It's what, a 4,000 gold lead here at 5 minutes? And it's going to be a much bigger here as Retirement Home. They're pulling the Gold Fury. SEAL Team Snyx, I don't know if they get here in time.
Down to 1,000, down to 500, not able to steal it away in time. Fino gets that final touch needed, but Death's around the corner. Down goes the Lightning Storm, down goes the Sunbreaker, and able to find one kill. Running around in the back line is now dead. Death takes down another. Yarkor running around are dead, and even though SEAL Team Snyx couldn't get their way toward the Gold Fury in time, they're still able to pick up on a couple kills and try and find a bit of farm where needed. Snooze might be getting soloed here. Wait a minute, reinforcements arrive. That's going to be Slayer chasing down Snooze, down to a couple hundred health and even less mana. Sot still chasing Snooze. Can Snooze get out of this? Sot still on the chase, but he's able to make it back to the tier 2 tower in the middle lane. Sot not going to find a kill today. Waiting around the corner, maybe looking to pounce with Slayer. That could lead to a kill, especially on a set right here. But I think that this is going to be just fine, hanging out under the tower.
Just so much damage already from this Jormungandr over here. Has that Triton's Conch completed here, so just so much damage. And that is one thing I do want to note. Jormungandr is going to be great at taking these crystals in enemy territory. Can just breathe on them. Doesn't have to interact, just uses those auto attacks, just take those crystals down really quickly. So I love what Sot has been able to do. Left-hand side, Puppy trying to start this fight, but I don't know if he wants this smoke here. Finoke and Yarkor just so far ahead in this lane.
Yeah, I feel like that poke damage just isn't very intense because of the is-set aspect. Look around the corner, Snyx. Big damage coming through, though. Fino turning things around. The Moonstrike lands, and down goes Snyx. Fino pays with his life, though. Hostile Puppy takes down Fino. One-on-one trade on each side. Sunbreaker's out to try and take down Yarkor. But the Moonstrike damage is too much for Diplomat to handle. Hostile Puppy still trying to bring the fight to him, but the Moonstrike lands yet again. Yarkor now on the back foot. No Omi to work with, and no way to fight back up against Hostile Puppy. The stun doesn't land, and the damage isn't too much from Hostile Puppy, though. Lifebinder's out. Yarkor trying to sustain this fight through, but he doesn't have a lot of resource to work with. Regardless, a massive trade as Snyx shows up in duo, but Retirement Home answer with a bit of damage of their own. That was wild.
Yeah, they do manage to take down Finoke, but I mean, Snicks just goes at the wrong time. The beads was forced and then just couldn't land the silence because Final K was already in the beads form. And then just it falls apart immediately. Yarkor has so much damage. Final K lands all of his shots onto Snicks in that moment. Snicks is taken out of the fight almost immediately. Yeah, Drunk and Hostile Puppy are able to get enough AoE damage off onto Final K to take him down. But then Drunk ends up falling because of the all-in commit in all the damage that Yarkor has as well as Fino. It's just unfortunate there for SEAL Team Snicks, especially because that looked like a great wraparound at the start of it. Snicks had a great avenue. Retirement Home had no idea. It just fell apart immediately, though.
8 minutes into this game, 9-3. Retirement Home are up 6 kills. Maybe SEAL Team find one on Slayer here, who's all by himself. But Yarkor shows up to try and save the day. Big stun lands through. Snicks is in the air. Lightning storms out. Able to find a stun here. Snicks lands back down. Down will go Yarkor, but he's able to take Snicks with him before he goes. Running around, just showed up. Getting good damage out the door, but running around can't soak up much of his own. Death trying to fight back and maybe hit a scythe to try and save his life. Running around, takes down Death. Maybe looking for more. Running around, isn't giving up today, but Hostile Puppy's able to take him down. Here is still Slayer fighting away. Hostile Puppy, is he gonna fight? Is he gonna save his life? The Aegis will make sure that he lives, but still on the chase is Hostile Puppy, maybe looking to find the final bit needed. Oh, just a tad off the mark. Slayer barely alive. What a wild exchange by the Gold Fury.
Yeah, I mean, Snicks again just gets caught by Yarkor's damage by trying to all-in him there. Drunk looks for that shot, but can't find the ricochet. Final K spaces that beautifully. I mean, just so far, I mean, it is nice, though, because SEAL Team Snicks, you can see they're getting kills, and that gold lead is still kind of 3,000. It's not, you know, getting any bigger despite the kills favoring Retirement Home in those moments. So SEAL Team Snicks, they're staying in it, and Snicks finds a kill here on the Solar Troll on the right-hand side. That's a big shutdown all of a sudden.
They did invest a lot into that kill, but that is a big shutdown. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's a huge kill that you want out of the way. Let's take Sot away. Let's keep him from farming because he might not be on a massive streak right now as far as kills go, but I mean, he's controlling that lane. He's got a lot of farm to maintain, so taking him off the map right as soon as both of those blue buffs spawn up, I think that's the smart play. The SEAL Team Snicks instead make their way towards Gold Fury on left side. Maybe we take down Des here in middle lane, though. All by himself, running around is the lockdown. Yarkor finds a couple stuns as well, and running around is dead, but here comes Snicks, able to find the Xe on Yarkor. Can we take down running around as well? Big silence. Snooze jumps in, 2-1 combo, does massive damage. Snicks still chasing under the tower, looking for a scythe, but the minions might save him. No, they won't. Snicks is able to take down another, and Sot just a tad bit late to the party. Can he find a chase and maybe find some revenge in the form of Snicks' death? Able to hit the knockup. Can he find the two? Just out of range.
Oh, no.
And Sot was a tad bit too greedy there. Massive damage coming through for Snooze, and Fino couldn't save the day in time. SEAL Team Snicks just found a bit of footing.
Sot way too greedy in that instance, and this is given 2 stacks on over to Snicks on the Thanatos. I mean, you know, before it was just Snicks was all-inning someone and dying for it. Now all of a sudden he's in a really good spot where he can play for the all-in and not die in a moment's notice with this Reaper that's slowly starting to stack up here. Snooze does go over to the right-hand side, but still, SEAL Team Snicks feel comfortable pulling this objective.
Lightning storms out, followed by the Sunbreaker. Retirement Home trying to steal it away, though. Out, and who secures it? Des takes it for SEAL Team Snicks. Into the air he goes, and down goes Snicks to find 1 kill. The Xe lands through, and Fino might be next on the chopping block. Yarkor's dead, and Fino is as well. Up a Gold Fury, and up 2 kills. SEAL Team Snicks stocks are up.
Wow, I mean, SEAL Team Snicks, look, it's just Retirement Home. They have the early lead, sure, but they are just playing way too over-aggressive in these weird matchups where they don't need to. Sot over chases mid, that gets him killed. That allows SEAL Team Snicks to outright pull a Gold Fury there in that moment. And just with all the damage that they do have to their name, they can just burn these objectives. The Hoi ult, the Zeus ultimate, the E-set for confirm, and now Snicks with 7 stacks of Reaper, even he does good damage at this stage of the game. This game, it's a 2,000 gold lead for Retirement Home, sure, because they answer with a great Pyromancer pull. But SEAL Team Snicks, in a game where they kind of look just outright out of it, it was 0-7. They're suddenly evening the kills at 12-11, and it's a 2,000 gold lead for Retirement Home. It is a very close game. We need to see SEAL Team Snicks, though, outright win these team fights now, though. And the 5-on-5s are where it's going to get a little tricky for them.
It has been a very, very close game. What once looked pretty decisive towards retirement home, I mean, SEAL Team have just showed up in a big way in recent time, grabbing that Gold Fury. They did lose Pyro, though. Slayer was able to pick that up just a few moments ago, but a fight unfolding here in left side. Sunbreaker's out. Snicks is in the air. Fino does get stunned, and down goes Snicks. Down goes Fino. Snicks is on a rampage, running around looking for revenge here. Able to find the stun, and Snicks is down. Slayer takes down Des in middle lane. He said Old South to maybe take down, running around, trying to save the life of Snicks, but running around, still putting up a good fight. Running around fighting for his life, but the pressure from SEAL Team Snicks might be too much to handle. Looks like they're giving up on that fight. They don't believe in taking down, running around. They just want to make sure that they live through that exchange. That's the smart play. I respect that as Snicks and Drunk Diplomat make their way back to base and continue this farming phase.
Slayer and Yark are going to be able to take down this tier 1 in mid, though, and that's because Dest ended up falling as well. Dest has actually gone for a Nimble Ring 3rd overall, so aware that his abilities aren't going to be enough in these fights, just going to lean a little more on the auto attacks as well to just outright win some of the 1v1 trades, because Zeus is great, sure, but he's great in team fights where he can land a chain lightning onto one person, and it just dot stacks off of the people next to him as well. In a 1v1 now with Nimble Ring, he can kind of apply these stacks a little more effectively with the attack speed and do some more damage as well with the basic attack power that this provides. And so the 1v1s become a little bit easier for the Zeus, but still he's a Zeus. He's really going to struggle in these fights.
As it looks like SEAL Team Snicks make their way up towards right side and try and invade on that purple buff. Maybe find a kill on Yarkor instead.
Whoa.
Over the wall of Snooze, it lands the Odin Cage. Rivers of Buke is out as well. Yarkor trying to save his own life through that ult, but he cannot do so. 4 bodies of SEAL Team Snicks breach and clear this left side, and down go 2 bodies. Yarkor and Fino are dead, and SEAL Team Snicks reap the rewards, take down this tier 1 tower, and they're all hitting the teleporter. Where are they going?
They're going to go take down the tier 1 on the right-hand side. They're trying to get the gold lead back in their favor. And so they're just trying to find any little objective that they can on the map. Gold Fury is about to spawn, though. And so my concern... No, is this a 15-minute fire giant? This might be a 15-minute fire giant.
No way. Are they going to pull this off right here? Yes, they are. The burn begins here.
Oh, I don't know about this.
10,000 health. And Slayer's around those. Snooze trying to put out the pressure and make sure that Slayer can't walk forward.
5,000.
Snooze did take a good amount of damage, down to 4,000 health. Sots in the pit. Sots in the pit. Who will take it away? Sots stole the fire. Sots stole the fire. Snicks makes sure that he pays with his life, though. But down goes Puppy. Running around, finds one as well. 2 bodies dead on the side of Snicks. Down go 3. Down go 3. Snicks might be dead. Snooze is down, but Snicks takes down Slayer. What in the world has just happened? Fino still on the chase. Snooze has nowhere to go, trying to run, use those feet and try and get out of there, but Snooze can't go anywhere. Fino takes down another 4 dead bodies around the fire giant, and Snicks will be the last. He did get the dagger, he just used it, but can he get to safety? No ult available, no way to escape. Down go 5 bodies, all 5 of SEAL Team Snicks, and Retirement Home just stole the fire. What in the world just happened?
Unbelievable from Solar Troll, just sunders it through the East Side Ultimate, the Zeus, detonate there. I mean, just SEAL Team Snicks, man, they try to snowball their lead and they get a little too ahead of themselves, I think, in that moment. They try and make the risky call, but I mean, Solar or Troll, man, just comes up huge for his team. He pays with his life, sure, but you'll take that one to the grave. And now Fire Giant on 3 members of Retirement Home. Pyromancer going their way as well. Gold Fury available. And it's bedtime as well, as it might be bedtime here for Hostile Puppy, but Zeus Ultimate will come out here.
Lightning Storm, Sunbreaker out as well. SEAL Team looking for a kill here. Sots around the corner looking for a knockup. Puyi's in the air.
Oh,
Diplomat trying to get out of harm's way, but in goes Sot looking for that final bit of damage needed on Diplomat. Slayer is able to find it. Down goes 1 for SEAL Team Snicks, and Snooze is a tad bit out of position, having to open the gate to get out. The gates will make sure that he is not down here. Snooze jumps over the wall, and look at Snicks having to use the ult to get out of harm's way. Retirement Retirement Home just came back in a big way as they marched their way down the middle lane, just took down the tier 2, and the bird is next.
I don't fully understand that attempt to fight in that moment with Fire Giant on 3 members of Retirement Home. SEAL Team Snicks just forced that fight to the nth degree, and just it doesn't go their way. They're behind. There's 3 members of Fire Giant, you know, Retirement Home. Why are we taking that fight in that moment? Just unfortunate there. And now SEAL Team Snicks, they have to try and sit back and let the game come to them again, because you hope Retirement Home makes another mistake where they just get caught in their own jungle or caught in the enemy jungle, because that's how SEAL Team Snicks were winning in that last, you know, the first couple of minutes. They were just kind of winning all of a sudden. And it's just off of, you know, finding picks here or there, you know, catching out a couple members, forcing relics. Now all of a sudden, SEAL Team Snicks are just so far behind in this game. It's 7,000 gold lead to Retirement Home, and losing that last gold lead to their name, I don't think they're going to make the same mistake twice.
7,000 gold up for Retirement Home here at the 19-minute mark. Just when SEAL Team thought they had a good field position, Retirement Home just made sure they fumbled the ball. And that was a massive steal on the Fire Giant. Then Retirement Home walk up, grab more kills, grab the tier 2, took down the middle bird, and the Gold Fury as well. They just went up so much in such a short amount of time. I mean, that much advantage. I mean, I don't know if SEAL Team are ready to respond with. They need to know how to fight these fights, because they're in a much worse position than they just were moments ago. Now they need to be very careful about what fights they pick and how they go forward into this game. As Yarkor by himself pressing forward, and I wonder what Retirement Home are looking for out of this.
This is such a bait from Yarkor. The rest of the squad is on the way.
Rivers of Buke is out. Yarkor still alive. Snicks is in the air, but here come the rest of Retirement Home. You might be right here. Snicks takes down Yarkor, but the rest of Retirement Home is ready for this fight, though. Running around in the back line, Des takes down Fino, and look at Diplomat taking down Slayer.
Okay.
Wait a minute, that bait might be a little bit too much for Retirement Home to handle. Running around, still fighting with his life, and Snicks with a bit of maybe 100 health through his name, but Hostile Puppy's able to find one. The shutdown goes the way of SEAL Team. They just took down 4 bodies. They've got the whole map at their disposal.
And Fire Giant's actually just about to spawn. 13 seconds on Yarkor. Sot has Sunder, sure, but I don't think SEAL Team Snicks will make the same mistake twice. They'll look to force some other objectives, Pyromancer maybe to their name. I mean, it's a bait, and it looked good for a moment there. Yarkor just buys so much time with their health bar. But I mean, Snicks is a Thanatos. He can just execute the health bars when they're not just at, you know, 0 HP. So I don't know. That bait was just a little too much there from Retirement Home. 2 Sunders available here for Sot and Yarkor. They're going to try and steal this. Or maybe not.
They can't find their way in. Diplomat able to take down the Pyro, another resource used for SEAL Team as they try and creep their way back into this game. And look at the gold lead. Now they're only down 3. They were just down 7 like less than a minute ago. And now they're getting their way back into this game. Just when you think SEAL Team is counted out and down for the count, look, I mean, they're doing a great job of keeping their mentality straight. Nobody's getting tilted. Everybody's concentrated on getting their way back in and making sure they don't give this one up. The kills are even. The gold lead is minute for Retirement Home, and only 1 Gold Fury token above is Retirement Home. I mean, this looks like it could go either way as Retirement Home sit in this bush and maybe wait for SEAL Team to step out of position.
See a grouping here from SEAL Team Snicks. Bit of poke there from Sue Slayer. And poke will always favor the likes of Retirement Home because they have a Yamoja for the sustain.
As maybe Sot steps up just a tad too far. The sun lands through. Sot presses forward. Retirement Home maybe want to start this fight. And in goes running around, looking to chase down the back line. Lightning storms out to try and zone away Retirement Home. The gate is out as well. Snooze is able to take down running around, who stepped just a tad bit too far away from the team. Great zoning there from SEAL Team Snicks. Those ults really came in use.
Yeah, but they're all down now. Only Snicks with that ultimate means they probably can't go force a Fire Giant, but they can look for the tier 1 and the tier 2 in mid at least.
I think that's probably what they're going to have to settle for. Nervous Rebuke is out. In goes Snooze, lands a massive stun. Snicks from the skies, takes down Yarkor, and Slayer taking a lot of damage as well, but he's able to get some poke out the door. Fino takes down Snooze.
Oh, no.
Scott takes down Puppy. Wait a minute, this fight just turned completely over. SEAL Team have lost 2 bodies and 3 low health bars on their side as Des can't get away. Sot's able to chase down another 3 dead bodies for SEAL Team Snicks, and there's nowhere for Diplomat to go. Slayer chasing down Snicks. Oh, a massive scythe. Way to turn things around there, Snicks. No way. Look at him go, but Snicks turning it around yet again. Fino is able to take down Snicks, though. Good Lord, just when you think this fight is over, massive way for Retirement Home to show back up here.
I mean, Solar Troll just looked like he's playing a comp game with 4 ranked players, man. Running around, Sooslayer, Yardcore, and Final K are just kind of running it down here and there, looking to force and overforce fights. You know, Yardcore baits on the left-hand side, but Solar Troll keeping calm, just sits back under the tier 1, waits for the fight to come to him, gets so much damage off in such an AoE condensed corridor, just ends up breathing so much damage on Dest and Drunk in that moment. Hostile Puppy as well. Snooze overcommits on the right-hand side to try and find a kill, gets picked off, and SEAL Team Snicks just overcommit to a fight that I don't think they needed to take there. And suddenly Retirement Home back in the driver's seat yet again. And Solar Troll and this Jormungand are just doing so much work in these fights.
Big stuff coming through for Retirement Home. Just when SEAL Team think they found their way back in, Retirement Home puts them back in their place, behind, at a disadvantage, and not ahead in this game whatsoever. Retirement Home is in control with Fire Giant buffs around all of their ways, aside from Slayer. Ancient Fury on a line along with the Pyromancer, and the Moonlight phase will begin right here. A lot on the map to take advantage of. What will Retirement Home go for?
I imagine it's the Gold Fury, and then looking for the Moonlight phase, though, could just force this left-hand side tier 2 tower. I mean, yeah, Retirement Home have the lead, but they've thrown their lead twice now this game. So is it really, you know, a lead at this point, unless it's like 10,000 gold? I don't know. I feel like this is still fightable here for SEAL Team Snicks. Important items coming through here. Titan's Bane completed for Drunk Diplomat. Obshard completed for Dest. Now working on what I believe is a soul gem here as well. Snicks has Titan's Bane as well. 13 stacks on the Reaper. Snooze is starting to get to a spot where he could just be pretty unkillable here. So yeah, you're down, but it's still doable.
Doable indeed. Fino has taken down that left bird along with the rest of Retirement Home, who marched forward, and Sanford Soccer by himself in middle lane. And the rest of Retirement Home are on this left side bird, trying to push it forward, looking for a way to start this fight their way, looking for a knock-up, looking for anything so Retirement Home can get this fight started. Sunbreaker's out, and Rivers of Buke follows through as well. Ult's being out the door. In goes Sot, going into the World Serpent. In the back line goes Snooze, who hits the cage. The Odin Cage is out, followed by the Lightning Storm, and down goes Yarkor, who can't handle that damage. Sot just took a lot as well, running around alive, though, and still has Dagger in pocket. And how will this go for Retirement Home, who continue their press forward onto that bird? Sot's able to find one on Des and continues that press forward. SEAL Team Snicks on the back foot and have to give up that bird. They cannot fight this through. Slayer's got massive damage out the door. Hostile Puppy's barely able to get back to the fountain, and Retirement Home make their way towards this middle bird now, and that'll surely fall.
Snooze looking for more, though. He's going to jump in on a Final K.
No way. That was a very ambitious call there, Snooze. Very ambitious indeed, especially without a cage online. I just don't know if that would have went through. Knockup lands from Sot, and down goes another for SEAL Team Snicks. Hostile Puppy barely able to get back to the tower again, but Snicks by himself. Sot's on a rampage, and we might be taking that rampage over to the Titan to end this game. Now, SEAL Team Snicks have fought for 27 minutes with all they've got, but it won't be enough as Retirement Home looks to put it away here, but Diplomat takes down Fino, looking for more. 4,000 health on the Titan, but Des turns it around. The Lightning Storm's out. Des finds a double. They can't end the game. Players by himself trying to put damage out the door to take down Des, but Diplomat finds a double. No way that SEAL Team Snicks have defended this Titan, and while they might have lost 2 birds, they're still in this game.
Yeah, but what can you do here? Pyromancer available if you're SEAL Team Snicks. I almost wonder if you just try and run it down and look for an end. They're just so behind. Their Phoenixes are down, their Titan's low. I don't know if you can stall the game to a point where your Phoenixes can come up and, start regenning. They also do have Nagas pushing down all 3 lanes. If Retirement Home don't respond, maybe you're okay just kind of defending here, using the gold spikes that you're about to get off of these Nagas pushing down towers. Get some objectives like Pyromancer here. Maybe this is just a stall angle here if you're SEAL Team Snicks and just saying, look, we'll go another fight. We're so close to being effective in these fights. I don't know, just so much committed from SEAL Team Snicks to try and kill off Yarkor. And they kill him, sure, but then you have no ultimates. You can't really fight after against Retirement Home. They have more ultimates to their name. They're going to look for more, though. I think they're trying to force a pick here before everyone respawns.
All 5 members of SEAL Team Snicks are in middle lane and make their way towards the Ancient Fury, as Retirement Home are also all 5 grouped up, but march their way towards the Fire Giant. Are they splitting objectives here?
No, I feel like for SEAL Team Snicks, they have to play this grouping here. They have to, force a fight outside the base.
Yeah, they absolutely have to. They're going to lose that Titan. Lightning Storm goes in. Sot's in the World Serpent. Sunbreaker's out. And Snooze taking a lot of damage. Ness finds one, but he goes down to Sot. And look at Snicks in the backfield. Can't find any way to press forward. Slayer takes down Hostile Puppy. Down are 2 bodies of SEAL Team Snicks. And Drunk Diplomat joins their friends in the grave. Bino's dead, though. Snicks finds 1. 2 dead for Retirement Home. 3 dead for SEAL Team. But Retirement Home are going to march their way forward and take down this Titan with only Snooze and Snicks. I don't think they have a way to defend this Titan. I mean, think about it. It's less than half health. I think they just continue this march forward, but in goes Snicks. Massive damage coming through for Snooze. 4,000 health, 3,000 health on the Titan, 2,000, and down it goes. Slayer finds what's needed. The Titan is dead, and Retirement Home take the dub.
Sooslayer getting the Mr. President treatment in that moment. Yarkor and Solar Troll standing on either side of him to keep him alive, so his damage is good for the Titan. I mean, Retirement Home, man, they look good, sure. They look effective, especially in these 5-on-5 fights, but man, what could have been for our bracket if only SEAL Team Snicks were able to pull off that win.
So close to an amazing upset, but just so far. Retirement Home took control, and we'll talk a little bit more about it as we come back from a break. We'll be back in a few. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Smite Prime. We're looking at week 1 of the November circuit. Y'all already know me. My name's Morty. We've got Book here in the booth with me and the whole Smite Prime crew behind the scenes. And we're going to take a quick look at what we just saw between our last matchup of Retirement Home versus SEAL Team Snicks.
Yeah, it was a really back and forth game when I thought it had no business being a back and forth game. I thought Retirement Home were just going to walk over SEAL Team Snicks, but they fought back pretty effectively in key moments. And part of it, I think, is Retirement Home had a really hard time of just kind of, being a cohesive unit. I feel like it started to get a little, ranked game territory towards the end there. Yarkor on his own trying to overforce a play. The rest of the squad's still on the way, just baiting, but the squad just isn't there in time. SEAL Team Snicks get themselves in the game. But then SEAL Team Snicks just overthrows at Fire Giant at 15 minutes. Like, it is just a back and forth of throws, I felt like, in key moments. And I mean, Solar Troll with the Fire Giant steal just is the play of the game outright. Like, he gets his team back in the game. SEAL Team Snicks were snowballing outright. Just what a performance from him in particular on this Jormungandr, especially with the aspect we kind of touched on a little bit, just more CC in the kit for this character, that knockup being increased. A little bit of less damage, sure, but still did effective player damage throughout that game nonetheless.
Book, I got to talk to Snooze over the break, and he said if we didn't go for that fire at 15 minutes, we'd probably walk away with a dub. Thoughts?
I agree. I completely agree. I think that was just an overforce and a game they were kind of just snowballing outright, because that suddenly forced the likes of Retirement Home to play grouped up with that Fire Giant, and they were winning fights just outright when they weren't full 5-on-5. SEAL Team Snicks were playing the pick game. They were picking members here and there, but forcing that Fire Giant forced the members of Retirement Home to group up and play the full 5-on-5. And that really did cost Steel Team Snakes, who wants to play this kind of pick style comp with the Thanatos.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreement with you. A bit of a ballsy play, but sometimes it takes a bit of playmaking to make things happen. It's hard to tell in the moment, right? I'm glad that they stuck with their guns rather than what's the term? Is it analysis paralysis, right? Like you're analyzing the situation. What do we do? Where do we go from here? And if you take 10 seconds, even 10 seconds to think, oh, we should go here. No, we should probably go here. That's 10 seconds off the enemy's death timer, right? That means that they come back and, whoa, wait a minute. Bad Boys have been taken down?
Yeah. I was just noting that as well. Smite 2 Bad Boys lost to I don't even know how you said it earlier. How do you enunciate this name?
Let's give it a try. Fluka Simrak.
That's a good way. I think, yeah. You know what? Fluka Simrak. I'm here for it. Yeah. They'll be facing off against. I think so. Fluka Simrak. I think that makes most sense. Prod's College Fund will obviously be taking them on. Clocked In still continuing to dominate the upper side of the bracket, and they'll be facing off against Retirement Home. I mean, look, Smite 2 Bad Boys, yeah, they looked, they won game 1, that we saw earlier today, but losing out now against this team that I think is it's a much newer team, a team that's still kind of finding their way. Kaveka, Cherry in support, Globe in mid, Wake, I believe, in jungle. I think it's just W, and then Dishonored over in solo lane. So yeah, this is a newer team. And to take on Smite 2 Bad Boys, who I think we keep heralding as one of the top teams, Smite 2 Bad Boys, I'm not saying it's time to push the big red button just yet, but it's getting closer and closer every day.
So just so y'all know, that Fluka's team, it's a new name, but we're more or less the same team. Kaveka and Cherry in duo lane. Cherry's playing support now. That's pretty cool. He's been moving around quite a bit. I think he was in jungle for a little bit too, right?
Yes, I believe so. Last split, he was in jungle on the Leftovers roster, yes. And before that, he was with Cherry Slush.
Globe, Dishonored, and a new name that we'll find out here in just a moment as we get into the picks and bans. Let's see who this mystery character is in the jungle for Flukas. W.
It's just W. Yeah, just W. Yeah. He likes to press the W key. Look, this is a newer team, sure, but just full of top-end players. Dishonored, obviously, coming from that Societe roster from last split, did very well there. Globe was the substitute for Clocked In previously, now starting on this roster. Excited to see that, and did pretty well when they subbed in for Paul in the first 2 weeks. Yeah, the first 2 weeks where Paul was gone did pretty well. Clocked In still made it to finals both weeks, lost out to Smite 2 Bad Boys, but now Globe and Dishonored have taken down the Smite 2 Bad Boys roster, and they're in a really good position all of a sudden. And I love this ban. I love this ban already. Just taking that one away from Crow.
And also worth mentioning, Bayro is joining the fight with Kaidon, Killcam Kenny, Crow, and Sunprod. And I feel like Bayro and Sunprod have had a bit of a connection for a while. It is a huge thing to note, though, that, think about Societe, Baile Novidable, that Bayro has been with Golden and Rangyu for quite some time. Even in earlier parts of the year, there were a couple of joust tournaments that happened between Christy Dixon and a couple others, and Bayro was fighting with those two for quite some time. Even earlier during the Founder Series, Bayro was with Rangyu and Golden. And for the first time in a long time, Bayro has split up from those two, and now he's joining the fight in a brand new way. He's in the carry role. We've seen Bayro in mid lane using mage picks for quite some time, but now he's trying out something brand new, and I'm wondering how this is going to go, especially with for the most part, new team.
Yeah, this is kind of a combination of the Societe roster as well as some members from, the Snatty roster from last season. Kaidon going to be in the mid lane there. So yeah, this is a new roster entirely, full of some top end players. Killcam Kenny in support has done really well here in the likes of OSL, the amateur scenes. Crow is just a ranked demon. That's why the Mordred's banned away against him, obviously. So I feel like this is a team with a lot of potential for sure, but are they going to be a team that can still, play competitive Smite correctly, I guess? I feel like this is a lot of ranked carry players. Is this going to be a team that can really gel together in a competitive environment and take on the top end teams, the likes of Smite 2 Bad Boys, the Clocked Ins of the circuits, and clearly now the Flukas, how do we say it? Simrak? Flukas Simrak.
So Interesting note here that if you look at Simrak, it's actually Karmic backwards. It's a bit of a dig there. That's interesting. I wonder if that's a bit of slight towards Karmic, or I don't know.
I don't know. It's a nice little nod for sure, as we are flying through picks and bans for sure. I mean, already I'm excited to see what these two teams have. I love what Flukas Simrak have already to their team. The Osiris, Yanis, Yamoja. It's just a lot of damage, a lot of frontline here. The Osiris can flex. Dishonored really loves this pick though. Can just be that beefy frontline. And the follow up from Globe on this Yanis, who piloted that really well those first 2 weeks of last circuit. Excited to see what this team has. Prod's College Fund, though, they've answered back pretty effectively so far with Jing, Merlin as their top two, and then rounding it out with Bologna, Baron in the second bottom two feels pretty good.
So I want to know, even though we're talking about picks here, I want to note this Ymir ban. I think it's a target towards Cherry, because Cherry has been known to love this Ymir pick. We even saw Cherry solo with Ymir. And I think it's worth noting that, like, if he's able to take Ymir into the solo lane, I can imagine what this guy can do in support. So that's an interesting ban that leaves a lot of options open, including this Odin, who's been considered very, very prevalent ever since anti-heal was, for the most part, taken out of the game. Odin Cage is one of the most reliable and efficient ways to throw anti-heal towards the enemy team. And up against Bologna with a Scourge, up against Baron Samity with Consigned Spirits, there's a lot of healing on the side of Prod's College Fund Crusaders. So this anti-heal option Odin pickup is massive for Simrak.
For sure. This does tell me, though, I mean, look at the composition that Prod's College Fund have. It's only the Baron that cannot get out of that cage, and everyone else, they can get out of the cage just fine.
Alrighty, let's dive on into the game. Let's take a look at Flukas Simrak up against Prod's College Fund Crusaders. And for those of you just now joining us, this is Morty in the booth, joined by Book. We've got the whole Smite Prime crew together. And I want to point this out before we lose track of time here, Book. We saw it in game one, we saw it in game two, and we're seeing it here in our third game of the day, Osiris Aspect in solo lane. Yep. What is this all about, and what does this bring to the table?
I think it's just keeping that passive up as much as possible, keeping the Osiris in a tanky form for as long as you can. I really like the way it's kind of worked out. You can kind of use that ultimate as non-committal damage from a distance. It's just very nice here in the soul lane in particular. We saw it in jungle as well from running around, rocking it there. So it's just a lot of more range damage that I quite like, especially on Osiris, who does want to be, leaning more towards abilities in the mid to late game. Once they have the, not really using towards that passive, they don't want to run out of the passive. So I like it. I love that this angle that Dishonored's gone for, especially with this composition that is just already so tanky with the Odin jungle, the Emoja as well. Just being that damage sponge in the late game is going to be quite nice for this Flukas Simrak roster, which... Man, just what a name. Flukas Simrak, man. I mean, it just rolls off the tongue clearly.
Yeah, it does. And I think that really explains, because a lot of the builds that we've been seeing from these Osiris picks so far have been very, very tanky. Even when we saw in the jungle earlier, extremely tanky, investing in the Glad Shield, investing in a whole lot of prots, and now it's starting to add up because Dishonored wants to be a damage sponge. That's a huge thing going forward, and I wonder how that's going to play into late games. Dishonored's known to be a bit of a tanky beefcake, right? That's what he likes to play. I think Osiris just falls in line with what he prefers to use.
Yeah, for sure. As a bit of aggression here, Bayonera getting taken down to a little less than half. I feel like the Bologna-Osiris matchup, though, should favor Bologna at this stage of the game. The way the aspect works is you're kind of spamming abilities, and Bologna's just able to kind of 1v1 you in the early game at least. So pay a lot of attention to that soul lane in terms of what Crow is kind of able to do here, as already both members at half HP. But remember, Crow has a bit of sustain, not only the Axe there as their starter, but also the Scourge just going to sustain them back up off the minions.
So I wonder how this goes down in middle lane. I think we're seeing how dual lane's going to unfold already. I mean, Cherry on Yamoja, no surprise there, but with Kaidon soaking up a bit of damage, W just showed up, and Globe taking a bit of damage from Sunprod, who just showed up and does a decent amount of damage. Oh, wait a minute, Uller jungle. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, it was the last pick. Sunprod going for the Uller jungle. Another character that just gets out of this owning cage, can kind of play a 1v1 style, play setup style as well with the axe as left-hand side. Bit of a trade here between Kaveka and Cherry.
And Barrow's on the press forward. Killcam Kenny looking to lock down Cherry. Not a lot of Omi for Cherry to work with, and he's also by himself. Barrow maybe looking to loop around and take down Cherry, but he's healing up a lot thanks to those potions. And Kaveka just showed up as well. Cherry on the press forward, though. Look at W around the corner. 1-2 combo from W, and Barrow will fall here. Cherry's able to find first blood for Fluka Simrock.
I mean, Barrow just stepping way too far forward there in the lane. I think the call may have been a little too late for where W was on the map, and they make the early rotation to left-hand side, nets themselves first blood. Already getting kills early on this Jingwei, which is quite nice. Jingwei, one of the harder ADCs to lock down on this left-hand side, and so if you're already able to punish a character like that, nice look for you if you're Fluka Simrock.
Big look indeed. Maybe they look for revenge here. Killcam Kenny presses forward, hits the root, consign spirits to follow, and the one hits as well. Barrow not hitting all of those basics. I had a feeling that he was going to be a little inconsistent with basics specifically. Abilities, I'm sure he's fine with. I mean, he's used to these mage picks, but maybe hitting every single basic is a bit of a hard task for Barrow, who's not exactly comfortable in that carry role just yet from what it looks like.
Yeah, for sure. You know, role swapping mid to ADC is kind of weird. I agree. Like the mechanics are a little bit different, not super different, but you know the way you hold left click is just a little more different to push the buttons 1 through 4. As Globe has to portal away, and probably Elemental is going to go the way of Prod's College Fund here.
Oh, Eagles rally goes in, and W might be in trouble. The stun lands from the spear, though. W is safe, especially thanks to the through space and time ult from Globe. We'll make sure that he can teleport through the walls and find safety in the jungle. And nothing found there for College Fund Crusaders other than a couple of fire rocks, which I think is better than nothing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, already leveraging the pressure that this Bellona is going to have on this right-hand side. Crow rotates first, allows Kaidon and Sunprod to just farm out those minions and get the rocks picked up. Want to take a quick moment to circle back to Barrow. They've actually gone for the shell pickup as their relic. No beads in this dual lane is going to be a tough time for the Jingwei to survive against, you know, the CC that Cherio provides on this Umoja, the lockdown stuns. And then the Boar trap combo as well from Kaveka. Yeah, Barrow is on the Jingwei and has access to a CC Moon ultimate, but why Jingwei? Maybe because Killcam Kenny is going to be the prime target, and you know the Jingwei Baron will be next to each other in the mid to late game, even in this early game. And Killcam Kenny feels the need that they have to go towards this Sunder, because if you're a support with no Sunder, as I hold back, Crow on the right hand side, he's going to get ganked.
Odin Cage is out, looking for some lockdown. Where can Crow go? To his grave is where he goes. Big damage coming in from W. Another one locked in for Fluka Simrock.
A great play there, and forcing the Aegis as well. So Crow not going to have access to that relic for a hot minute. And that all comes back off of the play of, you know, Crow used that ultimate to make sure that they secure themselves the rocks on the right-hand side. And so immediately W heads back to this right-hand side and pays a bit of a gank there to Crow, forcing the Aegis. Doesn't have ultimate up just yet. Left-hand side, though, we'll see a brawl.
A brawl on left side. Barrow's pressing forward. Life of the party is out. Looking for the vortex, but Cherry's able to use the Xerxes out, but it won't get him to safety. Barrow goes in for the ult and able to find the bit of damage needed to take down Cherry. But College Fund Crusaders are all low on health. They're forced to retreat away because W can clean this up in quick time if they're not careful. W might settle for some camps, though, but he continues to press forward. Look on the left side. Is Killcam Kenny from what it looks like. I don't think they really want to fight this.
No, the likes of Fluka Simrock can't really commit. They still only have a Yanis with no completed items just yet, so just need to continue to farm out in this early game. Great rotation there from Prod's College Fund, sending everyone over, the jungle and the mid, the left-hand side, to make sure they get themselves that kill. And great stun there from Sunprod just to secure those crystals. Love that little interaction between the two junglers.
Crazy game so far, 6 minutes in and 2-1. The kill count might not be too massive, but these kills have impact, and it leads to a small goal lead going towards Fluka. So it's nothing massive right now, just 1,000, but they're definitely maintaining control as we just got into the moonlight phase. Cherry by himself does get hit with the root. He's able to make it into the whirlpool, though. Consigned Spirits does decent damage. Another whirlpool will get Cherry to safety, and College Fund Crusaders have no way of chasing that down. I wonder if they're going to make their way towards gold soon.
Yeah, they're hovering that direction, but I can't imagine they pull without Killcam Kenny or Bayonary having ultimates just yet. Instead, they'll likely just continue to pressure out these lanes and maybe look for Globe here instead.
But spread around here, Beads is forced out from Globe and nowhere for him to go. Sunprod able to clean up and take down one. He's looking comfortable on this Uller jungle pick that I was a bit doubtful of at first, but come on, it's Sunprod. Why was I ever doubtful?
Yeah, I mean, he's picked it up before as well, so I mean, no surprise there. He's able to mechanically perform on it. Yeah, but just rotating on over to places where you kind of don't really expect. I mean, why is the Uller there in that moment? There's farm up on the left-hand side. Maybe the likes of Prod's College Fire are going to pull the Gold Fury. They just rotated on over. Killcam Kenny out of left-hand side. Bayro is around a 2. Maybe just weren't ready for that rotation out of the Uller, as Bayro getting taken down to a little less than half and forced ult. And
nothing happens from there, though. I think you're just trying to scare off Lucas, which I think is fine. I'm okay with that. Just trying to play it safe and be careful here. I like what College Fund Crusaders are doing here. They might not be in the lead necessarily or even up, but they're maintaining control over this mid lane ritual. Is now walking away. I'm wondering what the game plan is for College Fund.
Ooh. Globe?
Ooh, that was unfortunate. Didn't connect there. Globe trying to hit the through space in time, but he's going to have to hit the portal out. Sunprod is able to take him down from a distance, though. Big snipe from Prod, able to take down Globe. And now that they're down one body, College Fund can maybe utilize this map a little bit more. Maybe get this ritual in the middle lane, or maybe make their way towards gold. There's a lot for them to use, as College Fund Crusaders just took away that Moonlight ritual.
Yeah, so it is going to go the way of Prod's College Fund, but still kind of surprised they don't immediately turn their attention after getting it towards the Gold Fury there. I mean, you just got Globe's ultimate. That's a lot of steal potential. Maybe Cherry still being on the map and full HP on this Yemo, who is their ultimate steal potential with the Sunder, is the reason that Prod's College Fund don't go towards that objective. But also aware that maybe Prod's College Fund just take their time here. They have a scaling Merlin. They have a scaling Jingwei. The Bologna's going to do decently well in the mid to late game, just running down carries like this Artemis. You got to be a little careful, though, because as the game goes on, Fluka Simrak also get a whole lot stronger. This Artemis and Yanis are just, ticking time bombs here in mid and ADC. They get to the mid to late with the important items online, and Fluka Simrak should be able to just outright win these games.
I think that they definitely have a lot of team fight control. I think that Crusaders can fight back for sure, depending on how this lead goes. If they've got itemization and XP in their favor, then yeah, I think Crusaders can put up a good fight. But Lucas just have an amazing team fight between Globe, who feels very comfortable on this Giannis. W's been rotating very well. I really like to see what Flukas have been putting up so far. And I mean, the sky's the limit for them.
See a bit of aggression, a bit of poke onto W there. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned Globe being comfortable on the Yanis. That moment there in mid where we saw him get picked was a moment of where it's just a bit of a shock moment by Globe. I'm like, why is he kind of still standing there? Why is he taking that fight? Why is he just ulting at point blank for damage instead of safety? Is Cherry going to get looked at here?
Cherry getting chased down. Xerxes might bring him to safety. Gets him out of range for life of the party. That's a big resource taken away from Killcam Kenny. I like that. Cherry's playing a little bait here. I like that. Cherry is used to being a super tanky, very comfortable individual that he can just be in the thick of it and then get out, and he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind taking away resources that way. And it doesn't cost him too much. I mean, all it took was like, what, 1 or 2 Whirlpools and then a Xerxes? I like that.
Yeah, for sure, but no Sunder available here for Cherio is why like Prod's College Fund are going to pick up this objective.
Down half health on the Gold Fury. Good lord, Crusaders just took that away so fast. Blink and you'll miss it. Flukas could not try and take that away. They just weren't even near the range of it.
Yeah, double ADC for the Uller Jingwei, and then just the burn damage from Kaidon on the Merlin is just going to be more than enough to take the objective down to the point where Killcam Kenny can sunder it away. Kaveka on the left-hand side getting looked at here as well, but no, the members of Prod's College aren't going to commit to that 2v1, though they do take Kaveka down fairly low.
11.5 minutes in, first Gold Fury just went towards the Crusaders as they're finding a bit of footing as we approach this mid-game phase. And I wonder who has the advantage in the mid game, right? Do you think that we'll maybe see more damage come through for Globe? Do you think that this maybe goes towards the Crusaders a little bit more? What are your thoughts on this mid game?
I'm trying to figure out what Globe is working towards. I believe that's a Polynomicon second here for the Yanis, which I'm personally not a big... Yeah, it is. So I'm not a big fan of this build personally. The idea is you're weaving in auto attacks between all your abilities, but when you go towards the Gemma Focus Chronos Pendant build, you just have so many abilities to spam out that you don't need to be weaving in the auto attacks. This kind of tells me that Flukas want to be continuing to scale a little bit, as Crow on this right-hand side with the help of Kaidon going to look to take down Dishonored.
The Eagles rally finds the Sun. Dishonor getting chased away, trying to make it back to the safety of his tier 1 tower, but around the corner is W, looking for reinforcements. Odin Cage is out. Lockdown College Fund Crusaders, a big 2-1 combo. Will take that a lot through space and time, connects with 2. Globe just showed up, and he's definitely showing out. Massive damage coming through. Crow might fall as well, but we're turning around and finding the chase on Sunprod. Can we find a Sun here? W says no for now, but we're turning and making our way maybe towards the Pyro or these Firebrands on the right side. That could be the move, but look at Cherry on right side as well. Kaveka by themselves over here on left, and I mean, I can't wonder. Wait a minute, Snooze is bringing the fight to, not Snooze, W's bringing the fight to him. W's chasing up and looking for a big pick here. Cherry showing up as well. They really want to find Sunprod, but do they have the resource to do it? Massive knockup comes from the Cersei's, and W shows up to follow through. Sunprod is dead. Big things coming through for Simrock.
I mean, that was a great play initially by Sunprod. Got the beads off of W. That's it. That's all that play is there for. As Globe getting looked at here by Killcam Kenny. Has the beads.
Life of the party's out. Cherry getting vortexed in, trying to make his way out through the whirlpool. Killcam Kenny is slowed, and Cherry trying to put on the juke shoes, but will they fit today? Big damage coming through for Kaidon. Cherry doesn't have anywhere to go. The Rivers of Buke is out, but it will not save him today. Kaidon finds the kill. Over the wall is W, still chasing down. Massive knockup, massive portal from Globe. A lot of damage being thrown from both sides, but no kills found aside from Cherry, who's already dead.
Kaidon's able to flicker just in time to avoid that unstable vortex that surely would have killed him. A dive here coming through from Bayro, but can't find the autos. Pyro also being taken, but Dishonored looking for it.
But Pyro is getting dropped here, down to 1,000 health. Dishonored, they don't want to get stolen away, but Bayro is able to take down tower. Sunprod takes down the Pyro, and Dishonored getting chased down now, down to a couple hundred health, and able to make his way back to the safety of the jungle, where, I mean, Flukas are definitely raining around the corner. Globe's got massive damage to dispense, though. Bayro's down to half health around the corner. Killcam Kenny, who finds the lockdown. Bayro is able to get some damage in as well. Massive damage coming through for Crusaders, able to take down Globe, who stepped up just a tad bit too far. Up comes the Gold Fury and fires up in just a moment as well.
I mean, initial attempt there from Globe, but as soon as they committed the portal there for damage, it just was not meant to be. Bayro has backup in tow, and they're able to take that 2v1 and pick off Globe, but they are going to force this Gold Fury. It's getting down quickly.
W is able to secure that Gold Fury for Flukas, and the Odin Cage is out, looking to chase down members of Flukas. Cherry able to wind sprite over the wall towards speed buff, but Kaidon still on the chase, not able to find the vortex today. Crusaders are not able to find any scraps left of Flukas, and they did lose that Gold Fury. That's bad news, and lost them a little bit of gold lead, as now it goes about 1,000, 1,500 towards Flukas. It's not massive, but it is there.
Yeah, for sure. And do you want to know, there's so much mobility on this Flukas roster between Globe, between Cherry, as Kaveka getting doved. Again, forced to beads, and Sunprod's out of there.
Out of there, indeed. Down goes another resource away from Kaveka. Beads is out, which means that Kaveka might be a good target going forward. The Globe is pressing forward here in middle lane, looking to fight for this ritual here in just a moment. They don't want to give a presence on that. And here comes W from the backside. W might have that Odin Cage online. He's about to. Rivers of Buke is out. Portal lands through and does big damage. W is able to take down Killcam Kenny, and Cherry's on the back foot now. They're just looking to stay here in middle. They want this ritual, and they want it bad. I don't blame them.
No, for sure. They definitely want to use this as pressure here on the map. There's a lot of towers that are low. You can see the tier 1 and right very low. The tier 2 and mid kind of a little more than half HP. The tier 1 and left is pretty healthy, though. So these Naga lane minions aren't going to do a lot of damage to the left-hand side, but mid and right, you could look to siege off of it, especially because we do see both teams starting to group up a whole lot more as 4 or 5 members. And yeah, I mean, just great play, good pick there. Cherio as well on this support pick, man. Like, continuing to just juke the important CC abilities consistently, using those Riptides just run away to safety as Sunprod has to jump away to safety. No real anything else will come from that.
17 minutes in, the ritual will surely go the way of Simrock as they continue their lead into this game. Just a bit of gold, but now a lot of XP as the ritual is going to go towards their way. Oh, they were one off.
One more. There should be one. No, there should be one. You could see on the left-hand side, Cherry is going to pick up that one rock on the left-hand side from the Moonlight Crystal. So they will secure it, thank goodness. But
nice.
Yeah, that was spooky for a moment for sure.
Spooky Halloween. Oh. Okay.
All
right.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny.
I get it. Halloween was over yesterday. I get it. We don't need to be turning into Santa already more. I mean, you know. Like,
I wasn't I don't laugh like Santa. That's crazy.
That was definitely a Santa laugh. You were like you were borderline ho ho hoing there.
Borderline ho ho hoing. That was a hearty chuckle at best.
Yeah, Santa's known for the hearty chuckles.
18 minutes into this game. 2K gold lead goes towards Flukas Simrock. And Crusaders, while they're maintaining their footing here, they're on a bit of a deficit, which has been the case for the most part. Crusaders are aware of where they're at, and they're operating, you know, how they should be. They're holding on to what farm they can. They're grabbing neutral camps, so whatever the map allows them to grab.
Dishonored.
And stepping up just a tad bit too far is Dishonored, who's fighting for his life 3-on-1. But even with the help of Cherry, wait a minute, through space and time, takes the rest of Flukas Simrock towards right side. Sunprod is able to find one with Glow, make sure that he pays with his life, one dead body on each side on this right side fight. And Moonstrike doesn't connect. W's able to jump over the wall, and Crusaders on the attack. Flukas on the defense. Another Whirlpool will get Cherry to safety, but by himself up there is W. Odin Cage, Odin Jump brings him forward, and the shield will save his life, and the Odin Cage forced to make sure that he is not chased down. That's probably what Flukas needed to do there. They got one kill to answer Sunprod, picking up some damage there, and they get out. That's okay.
Yeah, for sure. And I love this Aegis pickup that Crow has gone for. Just immune so much damage in that one instance, and Cherry could get caught. Has no Cersei's.
Oh, Kaidon's able to take down Cherry. Goodness.
I mean, that's just a great pick. I mean, we've seen Cherry time and time again, just this game, continue to kind of look for small things and use all that escapability, the mobility to just run away. Crow wrapping around the backhand side of Kaveka here.
Look at Baroneri able to take down Kaveka. Goodness, Barrow's feeling comfortable. I think it took him a minute to get into this game and feel fine before he really started throwing damage out the door. But yeah, it looks like he's here. He's starting to show up as we creep up on the 20-minute mark. Look at the fight can unfold here in middle lane. Dishonored hammering away at Sunprod's skull, and look at Glow just getting big damage out the door. I love to see what Flukas is doing right now. They're grouping up and doing big things here. As the Gold Fury maybe taken away by the College Fund Crusaders, and Flukas seemed to know no better.
Yeah, I mean, that's why Sunprod took that 2v1 and is happy to do it. Yeah, he trades his life, sure, but he knows his team is securing the objective there. Through space and time was committed just for the little brawl there, and doesn't have that to now try and steal the Gold Fury. So it is just gonna be a free gold going the way of the Crusaders. And it's pretty much a dead even game here 20 minutes in. Like, there is no one side favored. We have to start looking towards the comps themselves of who scales a little bit better. I still want to lean on this Flukas roster that scales just a little bit better, sure, but there's a crit Jingwei on the other side. Kaidon is still a Merlin that once he gets 6 items, he's going to do a lot of damage. Sunprod will always do damage. Just hold everything. Fire Giant being pulled by Flukas.
That's an ambitious call, especially with no dead bodies on the side of Crusaders, and they all have ults as well, so this could lead, but maybe that's a bait fight. That looks like a bait fight. Life of the party's out, followed by the Rivers of Buke. The Odin Cade is out as well. You can think it takes down Crow, and look at the Rivers of Buke. Dishonored takes down 1. 3 dead bodies for College Fund Crusaders. No College Funds coming through today. Moonstrike connects. Down goes Barrow, and Sunprod's by himself with nothing but a lemonade stand to pick up those college funds as Fluka Simrak make their way towards the Fire Giant.
What an ult from Cherio, just baiting everyone into such a small corridor and finds the perfect angle with that ultimate to just keep everyone locked in. Bayro's still holding onto that shell, means Killcam Kenny can't just walk out of the ult, and then there's just so much AoE damage in that small corridor. Globe is able to get off a couple unstable vortexes that did so much damage to chunk down the members of the Crusaders. Fire Giant on all 5 members, and Sunprod has to be careful he doesn't overstep here in mid. There's 5 bodies with Fire Giant that are going to walk him down if he stays too long.
Walking him down if Sunprod isn't careful. Fire Giant is down. The dagger is in hand of Kaveka, and they just got their hands on the Pyro as well. They farm up, they buy some items, and they make their way towards Ancient Furies. Fluka Simrock could be cashing in on a dub here in the next couple minutes, but College Fun aren't out of this just yet. How do they need to take this Ancient Fury fight when it comes up?
I'm not sure if you even take the fight at the Ancient Fury. Yeah, you're kind of you were at an even footing, I'll tell you that. You were only down 1,000. Now you're down around 6,000 gold to Fluka Simrak, who killed 4 members, got Fire Giant, a Pyromancer. I feel like if you're Crusaders, you're kind of just sitting back, letting them run through this Fire Giant, defending your birds, because still members have to hit level 20. Baronary level 19, Sunprod level 17, actually down 2 levels to W, who's done a really good job of farming at this point of the game. You really just have to be careful what you're contesting here. I don't imagine you contest this Gold Fury. You definitely contest the birds. I think you're content of giving away these tier 2s. Maybe you give the tier 2s and then you chase Flukas to this Gold Fury, because they won't have backed at the time for their huge gold spikes. That'll just be gold in their pocket.
Pressing up on this left bird. Life of the party is out from Kenny. Looking to find a vortex and maybe lock down one member. Oh, through space and time, just did big damage, but around the backside's Crow. Eagles rally in, down goes Crow. Barrow's in the sky, and it looks like Flukas might not take this fight, but yes, they are. Rivers of Buke is out. Cherry just took down Crow. Flukas Simbrack pressed forward on this left side, then the tower will fall. Surely, will they continue the press forward? The Moonlight phase is upon us, but they're going to continue this run up the left side and maybe take down this bird, because Sunprod and Kenny are the only 2 that are here. Kaidan just now getting out of base. Bayro lands back down, and down goes the bird. Kaveka finds it, but stepping forward just a tad bit too far. Kaveka's forced to use the dagger, but he's alive. Bayro's getting chased out here, and Cherry is still the center of attention. Bayro is able to chase down Dishonored, and Bayro's on a rampage right now. Look at him go, able to find one. Can we find more? Something tells me no, because Flukas Simrock are on the back foot, getting chased out here. W is on the retreat. The rest of College Fund Crusaders might be pressing a tad bit too far. Look at the Odin Cade is out. Kaveka's able to find 2. Kaidan's dead as well. Kenny might be next on the chopping block. W just waiting for a jump forward. The stun doesn't connect, but maybe Flukas just grab those kills and walk away.
It's moments like that where Barrow is really showing the inexperience. He's doing such a great job. He's got the crit Jing Wei. He's doing so much damage to important targets. He feels unkillable in that moment. He just dashes first. He's the first one in. And then there's just too many tanks in the way, so Bayro can't land the important crits onto Kaveka there. He falls down instantly to Kaveka's damage, because this Artemis is also in a really good spot. 4 items completed. Able to just take down that carry. And just unfortunate. Bayro's used to the Merlins where he can kind of flicker in and then throw out some CC and some important cooldowns, but on Jingwei, you don't really get to get away with moments like that.
And holding it down here in middle lane, Kaveka on the Moonlight Ritual, grabbing XP and trying to get a little bit more pressure from this Moonlight Ritual. And look at this Pyro, that's going to melt just to Kaveka. Look at the damage, the DPS, and the lifesteal. Kaveka's able to take this Pyro by himself as Globe holds down middle lane. Wait a minute, no he's not. Sunprod just took him down.
No beats for Globe, and Sunprod probably landed the Axe combo, and at 4 items in, Sunprod is swinging with this Uller build, has reached level 20. He's working towards a starter item here, but just so much damage already on this Uller, especially on 2 carries. I feel like Sunprod's in a really good spot all of a sudden that he can play these flanking angles. And do you want to know, shoutouts to Crow, man, with that flank angle. I didn't even notice that he was there. And the ult from Moods looked a little weird in that moment around the tier 2, but just pulled both ultimates right away. And all of a sudden, with that pick onto Globe, it's Crusaders who are here grouped up around mid. They'll likely get themselves the ritual here. That's good pressure to help out on the left-hand side as the Fire Minions are pushing there.
26.5 minutes in, creeping up on 27 with a 3-kill lead and a 7K gold lead. Fluka Simrock are in control, but College Fund Crusaders are far from out of this as the Moonlight Ritual continues, but they got the favor, not the whole ritual.
Yeah, for sure. They didn't get the whole thing, but they'll still get those Naga minions pushing down the 3 lanes as W is stepping forward here, but instantly just forces Moods to ult there.
As W chases forward, looking to hit a big Odin cage to start this fight right, but the opportunity hasn't presented itself just yet. Fluka Simrock, all 5 grouped up by this fire. Same with the College Fund Crusaders, but they're just trying to maintain space right now. In goes W through the portal. In goes for the Odin cage, and he's on the back line. Rivers Rebuke is out on the right side. W still chasing down Kill Cam Kenny, looking for that support. Can he find this kill, though? Not so sure. The rest of Flukas are in the back line. Kaveka takes him down. Big kill right there. And Globe chasing forward, able to take down Bayro. Kenny is next. 3 dead bodies for College Fund Crusaders. And Flukas Simrock continue to W key forward towards this right side bird. Massive portal lands through, forces the flicker away from Kaidom. The right side bird will fall here. The left side bird's about to respawn, and there's still a tier 2 in middle lane. What will Flukas do? They grab this resource, grab a bit of gold, take something away from College Fund Crusaders, and march their way out.
Stunprod has to be careful here that he doesn't get picked off. If he dies, that could spell the end for Crusaders. He is able to live, but I mean, it's a great play by Globe and W. W takes the portal in, cages Kill Cam Kenny, but immediately Flukas Simrock looked towards everyone else in that small corridor. Cherio ults on the right-hand side of that fight instead, and all the damage is directed that way. Kill Cam Kenny survives the Odin cage damage, and in that moment, Crusaders, they're low HP, and I think the call just needs to be back off, get out of here, give the Fire Giant, we're already too low, we can't contest this anymore. But they just stick around in the jungle, they stick around in the lane, and they all end up taking a spill here because Flukas Simrock then regroup after to find those picks. Gold Fury available, and you can see Crusaders beelining it towards that objective, but I don't know, man. I feel like you have to be really careful here about where Flukas Simrock are grouping here because you can't take a full 5-on-5 right now.
Pyro just now taken down. Fire as well for Flukas Simrock, but the Ancient Fury has just respawned. All 5 of College Fund are here, and Flukas don't have all 5 of their team. Kaveka and Cherry, or Kaveka and Globe, are still getting out of the base, but Flukas still want to start a fight regardless. In goes W, able to hit the Odin cage and melt Kaidon's health bar like hot butter on a stovetop. Through space and time, does not connect, but the portal does. And who do we take down from here? Crow goes into the air. The Bridwind shield does big damage, but where do we go though? Globe's able to take down Crow, and Crusaders just lost 2 bodies. Is this over?
It might be. They are going to force mid tower here, likely the mid bird as well. I'm not sure what Crusaders can really do here in this 3-on-5 defense. Down ultimates. Only Bayro with that ultimate available.
And in goes with the beads. Look at Kaveka able to melt down Sunprod as well. Another Odin cage is out already. We just saw one. Kenny is dead. Through the portal into his grave he goes, and the Titan will be next. Bayro's in the air trying to defend with everything he's got, but he doesn't have enough. The Titan will fall here, and the W goes to Flukas Simrock.
It comes back to me for that ultimate from Cherio around Fire Giant where he says, I assume it's Cherio, let's pull Fire Giant here, force them to walk into us, and I'll throw out the ultimate, cage everyone in. We have the damage at this stage of the game. Let's just kill all of them in my cage. And sure enough, it gets them huge. It gets them Fire Giant 4 kills in that moment as well. And then the snowball just continues to build and build and build. And man, Flukas Simrock, man, they look pretty good and they look pretty confident going here into the next round.
Looks like Sunprod's going to community college. Great job from Simrock. I mean, that was an amazing game from them. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Smite Prime. We're back with the week 1 of the November circuit. Y'all already know me. My name's Morty. We've got the whole Smite Prime crew behind the scenes. That's Test Dye, Rosie, Billy, and Jithens. And next to me here in the booth is Spirited Book, and we're going to look at what we just saw a moment ago between an intense matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of a good back and forth game in the early game, obviously, and our two teams did fairly well in the early game as well. But I mean, man, this Flukas Simrak roster just looks so good in the mid to late game, and as a team, despite being one of the newer rosters together, I feel like they just look so good. And we do take a look back at our replays for the day. Smite 2 Bad Boys taking on Glurp at the beginning of the day was a nice look as well. I feel like Smite 2 Bad Boys just looked really confident and dominant there, but obviously losing route to the Flukas Simrak team. And we obviously saw Retirement Home take on SEAL Team Snicks in a game that I think should have just gone the way of Retirement Home, but SEAL Team Snicks, they didn't make it easy for them.
They did not make it easy for them. This was a fun game to watch for sure. I'm a big fan of how this one went down. I mean, I just did not expect the pressure that came out from SEAL Team Snicks throughout the game. Now we're here with Flukas Simrock. That's the one that we just watched. College Fund Crusaders and Flukas Simrock. This was a fun one as well.
This all right here from Cherio, throwing the Riptide on the other side so no one can get out. And that, to me, was the game-breaking play here for Flukas Simrak. Just what an ult from Cherio. They're funneled there perfectly by W, excuse me. I believe it's Wake. I'm not sure. But W in that moment, and just what a play there from this team. And this is a team that is newer, but they look good, and they won that game pretty confidently. And they've taken down Smite 2 Bad Boys now. I'm kind of curious how this team is going to match up against the likes of Clocked In. I feel like this is a team that could beat them.
I am not going to argue with you. I mean, I think Cherry's especially comfortable in this support role. And think about what we saw from Cherry during the Founders series. He played a lot of gods that brought him success as far as engages go. He was very good about controlling team fights through crowd control, through the Ymir pick, the Geb pick, everything else. I mean, I think he's very comfortable with the support pick. I can't wait to see how Cherry continues to do as a support throughout the November circuit. That being said, we've got a giveaway to talk about. For those of you just now joining us, head over to the Smite Prime Twitch channel, Smite Prime, and hit hashtag giveaway, and it'll enter you in for free 99, no cost whatsoever, and you can have a chance to get this little Thanatos Cupid skin.
Yeah, and you also get all the little remasteries with it as well, so love that as well. But free 99, isn't that like 99 cents added on to the free? Does that make it no longer free, Mort? Is that not how that works?
No, it's free. Let's bring up the brackets here. Let's talk about what we're going to be seeing going forward after an intense matchup between Flukas Simrock and the College Fund Crusaders. It's a fun one to look after, which means now we'll be looking after Clocked In versus Flukas Simrock. You asked the question earlier, is this the team to take down the Kings? I mean, maybe so.
Yeah, I mean, Clocked In, you can kind of see their bracket was just, I would say, a little bit easier here. But yeah, I mean, Flukas Simrak on the other side, I feel like they had a much tougher bracket, taking on Smite 2 Bad Boys and the Crusaders. This should be a good one for us today.
And part of making our way into the finals means that we're introducing, well, it's been introduced already, but we're going back to the Vault Bans system, meaning once a god has been played in a game, that god is locked away in the vault for the rest of the set by either team. Let's say if Thor is played in game 1, neither team can use Thor for the remainder of the set in games 2 or 3. However, if a god is banned, banned during picks and bans, they can be picked up or banned away in game 2. But if they're played, they're locked away in the vault.
Yeah, this is where we start to see teams kind of show off what is in the god pool. What can you pull out? Are there teams that can take away gods that and the enemy team might play in game number 2? And I feel like one of the strategies against Clocked In, who is such a dominant team, is by taking away some of their best picks in game number 1 by playing it yourself. If you win, that's great. If you lose, well, now they can't run those in game number 2 because they've just played some of their best picks, and then now you've taken away some of their other best picks.
All right, let's make our way into picks and bans. So the finals of the week 1 November circuit right here. Fluka Simrock up against Kalaktin. This is going to be a fun one, dude. And now we see that Simrock dig towards Karmic. It's here. I mean, they're facing each other in the finals. I wonder how Karmic's going to be taking that against Dishonored.
Yeah, I feel like this might be a bit of a personal grudge match between these two teams. Clockton going to want to defend the honor of their soul laner Karmic versus Flukas Simrak are going to try and clown on the enemy soul laner. And already off the table, I love this ban against Kaveka, and I'm kind of surprised that we saw it last game. Kaveka loves this Artemis, so taking that away, no shock at all there.
I feel like Hydro might be looking for a Jing Wei. I feel like Hydro's been most comfortable on the Jing Wei. Every game that I've seen Hydro on Jing Wei, I'm just like, this guy's the go, dude. Like, this guy's like a monster. But I mean, he's got a plethora of picks to go through as well. We haven't seen Agni aspect today. That's been kind of a shocker because usually that one's pretty popular. I love the Agni aspect personally. Even if you don't get a leap, you don't get CC immunity within Kit. I mean, just that dash can cover so much distance. You offer so much DPS with the burn. I mean, you're melting objectives. That could be the move for Hydro. I guess we'll find out as time will tell. Bans come through. Giannis is taken off the board as well as Achilles. That's surely a dig towards Tegvir. And Osiris is going to join the ban list as well.
Yeah, taking that one away from Karmic here. Jormungandr still on the table for both these two teams. Would like to see that one maybe taken away by Flukas Simrek. Karmic, one of the players that has really kind of made this pick as high a priority as it's been. It is going to be the banned away by Clocked In, though. Kind of surprised by that considering they are first pick, but maybe going to lean a little more towards Tegvir's Tsukiyomi that they often tend to prioritize.
That could be the move. Tsukiyomi is definitely a reliable pickup here. We've even seen Karmic pull out Tegvir as well. And Paul's been known to pull an assassin mid or two. So I don't know. It could be going towards either way. And another thing we haven't really seen a lot of, I don't know if this guy has been taken down or just not used whatsoever. We haven't seen a lot of Baron mid. It's been a lot of Baron support, but I mean, Baron mid for Globe, he's been known to use that from time to time, especially with all the DPS that aspect can pull out. That might be a move too. There's so much on the line here, especially with vault bans in place. Do we use our good gods early? I see we are, because Yamoja is going to be the first pick for Happen on the side of Clocked In.
Yeah, but Tsukiyomi and Jingwei both available here. So Happen's going to be picking up the Yamoja. Probably a takeaway as well from Cherio, who just had such a good game last time around. And I think that is why the bans went through the way they did from Flukas Simrak. Instead, it is going to be the Agni pickup here from Flukas. Bologna is still available as well. So just a lot of priorities that I expected to see aren't going to go the way, but this is Jingwei Agni. These are some of Hydrogen's best picks already off the table for the rest of the series.
That hurts Hydro. I mean, I'm sure he's got a god pool. I'm sure he's got more to play with. We could see an Uller. Oh, Uller's banned. Okay, our god pools are a little bad for Hydro. Yeah, the shallow pool. I'm trying to think of what he's going to even work with at this point. We're going to see a Zeus carry again? Honor could be the move. That makes a lot more sense.
That is what he's likely leaned on as his third option. When Jingwei and Agni are off the table, he tends to lean towards the On Her. So expect Hydrogen to lean towards that. And I really like it as added alongside this comp from the Yemo as well. It's good lane pressure. The fight potential is really there. The CC immunity as well. But of course, on a team with Paul, of course you're going to be locking in Merlin here.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair indeed. As much as I like Paul on these assassin-oriented picks in mid lane, I think that he's very comfortable with the Merlin. Merlin's just so strong right now, regardless. With all the lockdown and space control that you can provide with Rivers of Buke from Happen here, I think that Merlin's the only right answer. Bologna in a set will join the fight on Fluka Simrock. Dishonored on Bologna.
Yeah.
Okay. Red alert for Clocked In. This is going to be a banger of a game, dude.
And this is going to be Cherio on ESET as well in support. I'm really excited to see how he pilots that, because he was able to pilot Yemo pretty effectively. And I feel like these two characters can kind of play a little similarly, where it's good pressure in the lane, as well as some, objective confirm, big AoE CC, the silence as well to be very effective. Cherio has always been the utility player, whether it's been he's played from jungle, whether he's played from support or, soul lane, obviously in Smite 2. He has consistently been the utility player, and that is what ESET support does. It's utility, it's movement speed, it's, some healing for some allies. It's mitigations in the ultimate. It's the silence that provides a shield as well, the stun from a distance. So much utility in this kit. I really like that he's gone towards this pick.
Speaking of stun from a distance, Neath has been put into the chat here. Hydro's playing Neath this game?
Yep.
What in the world? And that's what I love about vault bans. We're saving the on her pick for later, right? You'll never know when we're going to need it. We'll save it for later. The Neath pick comes through for now. Hunbats goes towards W on the side of Fluka Simrock. Both of these team comps look wild. This is going to be a banger of a game.
There's so much CC on the side of Fluka Simrak that just allows them to make up for the fact that it's going to be a Jingwei, just, so much damage. They don't have to worry about setting themselves up for the knockup. They just have to worry about shooting out those AoE auto attacks for Kveka on the ADC role. And then Dishonor on the Bellona, who doesn't have a whole lot of CC outside of that ultimate. That's all made up for by the Agni, the Hanbots, and the ESET. Just tons of CC between this mid 3v3. And I really like it. This is going to be a lot of AoE control here in the jungle, in the mid lane, specifically around the Moonlight Rituals. I really like this composition that Fluka Simrak have.
I do too. A lot of zone control, which is great once we get into the Moonlight phase. But to get into the Moonlight phase, we got into the game. Let's do that. We're going in the finals of week 1, locked in versus Fluka Simrock right here, right now. This is Morty and Book in the booth. We've got the whole Smite Prime crew behind the scenes. And man, I can't wait to see this go down.
Yeah, we're out here committing. No, we're not doing that. No, clocked in. I mean, they've kind of gone for a comp that they're just very comfortable on, right? Like it's Tegvir Tsukiyomi. He loves this option. It's Paul Merlin, sure. Karmic leaning on the Thor. They love this pick. Happen on Yemo is one of their best picks by far. And then we saw Hydrogen pick up the Neath Aspect ADC quite recently as, the last October circuit finals. They kind of started playing more of this Neath ADC with Aspect. And it just allows them to kind of make global impact around the map, but also still just be, a strong CC presence, just some good AoE, some good damage as well for some structures, some objectives. Still can play the ADC role, but also just can provide some global presence as well.
Well, we hit a bit of a pause. We're trying to figure out some technical difficulties for right now. We'll be back here in just a moment. For now, I'm wondering, where do you think the early game pressure lies between both teams? Do you think that maybe Hunbat's mobility is going to rely on that? We were waiting for the Fear No Evil to come online, and then maybe W start showing up to lanes, or what are we relying on here?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because both mid 2v2s kind of just want to sit back and farm a little bit. They both want to hit level 5 and start being impactful elsewhere on the map. I think a lot of the attention is going to be paid towards duo lane, though. You have a Yemo Neath lane that should be good early clear and pressure against ESET Jingwei. They're a lot lower pressure, obviously. ESET will provide the Jingwei with a bit of extra clear, but just nowhere near as strong as the Yemo and the Neath. So I think it's going to be a lot of attention paid towards duo lane for clocked in. Across the way, I think you're paying attention to solo lane for the side of Fluka Simrak because you have a Bellona over there. Bellona versus Thor, and it's not a matchup we see too often. Often we see Bellona traded for, say, an Osiris or a Jormungandr, but both of those picks are off the table. So, I think Bellona would be a great lane to lean on. The Thor does just want to sit back and play the farming lane and rotate out and make an impact elsewhere. If we can see a bit of attention paid towards the right-hand side, the soul lane, I think Fluka Simrak can maybe try and snowball the lead off of a Bellona just getting so far ahead.
Dishonored on Bellona. I repeat, Dishonored on Bellona. Dishonored, who's already a masterful Beefcake utilization player, and he's going to pick up Bellona, who's one of the top dogs in solo lane right now. Solo lane's going to be something to watch, that's for sure. I definitely want to keep my eyes over there, but let's before we keep our eyes anywhere, we got to get into the game, and that's what we're doing. Here we are. Finally, everyone is back. And we are here playing the game of Smite in the finals of week 1 of the November circuit. How are we feeling, Book?
Feeling pretty good. I'm excited to see, especially this new roster of Fluka Simrak, see what they can pull off here, as we'll see a grouping here yet again.
Mid lane group, Moonstrike forces the beads away, and back goes Kveka, who just suffered a whole lot of damage. Gonna have to retreat back, and hopefully they don't invade on your left side buff there.
No, I don't think they will just yet. No, I think everyone's going to start standard now. The only difference is, though, Kaveka did have to use the beads there. So this lane with a lot of pressure already is going to have even more threat and kill potential here against this Jingwei, who doesn't have a whole lot of pressure at this stage of the game. It's interesting, though, because I don't know. I'm kind of confused why Flukas Simrak just forced that. They're kind of want to scale a little bit. You have a Jingwei, you have an Agni that wants to hit 5, a Humbats that wants to hit 5. Why contest that early? You're against a Merlin who already starts with 2 abilities, a Tsukiyomi who can start with CC level 1, Neith can start with CC level 1, Yemo definitely has CC level 1. I feel like the options for Flukas Simrak there just weren't the same, and I feel like they overforced that.
Moonstrike connects. Cherry soaking up some damage right now, and the pots thankfully will make sure that he's sustained in the lane. But just a mere bit of poke right now. Nothing too wild. But between this Yemoja Neith duo lane, I don't think they're going to get poked out anytime soon. But there is some healing on the side of Cherry as well. I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering... Like, this probably just, I mean, usually there's a good amount of kill potential in duo, right? Especially when W will show up with Fear No Evil. But with all of this healing for both sides, I'm wondering if kill potential really does lie in middle lane, like you were saying. Those mid 2v2s are especially where it's at, as W's getting chased down. The Caltrops do big damage. W's forced to walk away here.
Tegvir, I think, realized that the cooldowns were a little bit off there. He wasn't going to have the important damage cooldowns before W was going to have their jump available to him, so they just decided to call it off, go towards and secure those oracles, as Karmic is able to steal away this blue buff on the right-hand side away from Dishonored.
And we are back to the poking game. And what do we think about starters here? I mean, everything looks pretty standard, right? Sands of Time for both mid laners. Warrior's Axe for Bologna. Dishonored really wants to get aggressive early. We're investing in Bluestone late for Karmic. Everything looks pretty standard, right?
Yeah, the only difference, I think, is between Cherry and Happen. Cherry has gone towards just the more, unselfish, passive starter item, as Cherry getting lower and lower here. He's going to be taken down by Hydrogen.
Oh, backflip damage is crazy from Hydro. Able to find first blood for Kalaktin, and second blood might be suffered here in duo lane. Dishonored trying to fight his way out of this, but the health from Scourge won't benefit him that much just yet. Dishonored is dead. Great gank from Tegvir.
Man, just a week later, and Clockton are still a pretty good team here, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, what a play on the left-hand side. Happen and Hydrogen just have so much early aggression. And this E-set pick, its aspect, and it provides a lot in terms of utility, as we see a bit of a trade between the two junglers, but I think that'll be all it is. Just a fight over the rock elementals, but Karmic is on the way here.
Karmic's on the way, and W trying to bring the fight to him as well. The fight over the Firebrands will begin here, but look at Paul in the bush.
Ooh,
maybe looking for a flank. W is a tad bit low. I don't know how much more he can live through. Karmic's looking for some big damage on those Firebrands. W forced to use the beads away. Overhead smash might bring him to safety. Somersaulting out, but Tegvir will take him down with the Caltrops. One body suffered on each side. Karmic is dead, as well as W. Tegvir down as well, but look at the Neith ult from downtown, but it's just a tad bit late. But Paul just showed up. Can he capitalize on it? Yes, he can. One basic put down globe. Amazing stuff there from Paul and Hydro, with great vision on the map, able to utilize what's going on right there.
I feel like Dishonor was calling, yo, let me come body block for this. Yes, Kaveka is able to juke out of that ultimate there with a great dash. And actually has the damage on a Happen, getting him lower and lower. But in that moment there, I feel like Dishonor tried to body block for Globe there, but Globe's like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then Paul flickers in and just kills him. And he just wasn't ready for that in that moment. So a nice little play there between Hydrogen and Paul. But already you can see this Neith is able to make a global impact presence there all the way from the duo lane, and is still going to be able to do good objective and structure damage as well going into the late game. Already has this transcendence as W finds Karmic on the right-hand side with the help of Globe.
A lot of kills this early into the game. I told you this is going to be a fun one. 4-3 at 4 minutes in, but Clockton make sure they're in control. Less than 1,000 gold lead, 1 kill up. But I mean, it looks like they're just more dominant overall. You can just base by field positioning and where they're at. I mean, it looks like they're in control of this game. Hydro feels comfortable on this Neith pick as well. I was a little doubtful of it at first because we don't see Neith very often, and when we do, it's usually in mid lane. But this aspect for Neith has really been proving the fact that she can just throw damage out the door so fast.
Yeah, I feel like Neath aspect has been incredibly underrated for a long time, as I believe Wake does secure that. But look at this, Techbeer's going in.
Hit all 4 connects on the ult. W still chasing him down, but the stun from the overhead smash, thanks to Hunbet's aspect, will make sure that Tegveer doesn't get too much farther, but he's able to steal the camp away. I think it's better than nothing for sure, right?
No, for sure, and we actually weren't able to notice it, but Tegveer also stole away W's speed buff as Paul flickering under the tier 1 tower, not afraid to be aggressive here in the mid lane on this pick. This is prime Paul pick, right? Like, we kind of talk about how Paul is so comfortable on this Merlin, and back when it came out in season 6, this was the pick that helped him win Worlds for his first time, and I love that even in Smite 2, he can still just go back to it and look as comfortable as ever.
Definitely, he looks good. I mean, he looks very good on this mage pick. I love when Paul uses the Merlin. He seems to never suffer or fall behind as the moonlight falls upon us. And we're looking for little resources around the map here. What does this exactly mean for both teams here? I mean, this early in with so many kills on the board with not a real lead, I wonder what this moonlight phase does for both teams.
I feel like it's gonna be, I mean, I don't think either team is looking to prioritize it just with where they're pathing. You can see W on this left-hand side just looking to pick up some of those moonlight crystals. Hydro going to the ultimate, but doesn't commit it just yet. But across the way, Fluka Simrak, I think they're okay just giving this first round of the moonlight phase. They want to scale a little bit more. They want their Jingwei to be in a much better spot than she is right now. Get that crit online. Let Globe get a couple items as well. Let W get the important items as well, as ultimate does fly out on the right-hand side.
Maybe I will land towards Dishonored, but Karmic can't really seem to capitalize on it. The damage isn't too huge right now on that big arrow. I don't know. I mean, I love the help that he's trying to give out, but I just don't think there's any kill potential there. Maybe that was meant for like an escape tool rather than like a beneficiary to the fight. You know what I mean?
Maybe just trying to see if it can put Karmic in a moment where they have the advantage just in terms of health bars. As a mid lane, W getting looked at here, forced out, and forced to beads under the tier 1 tower.
And the mid lane ritual is now going towards Clocked In as they try to cash in on a bit of extra XP and maybe find some more resource to work with there. Paul makes his way towards red buff and happens way out there. He's going to try and steal away this yellow buff by himself.
That's under.
I mean, just spamming your one. He doesn't even need this under.
No, he's got it. And that's a big invade yet again. I mean, W has to just throw vision on their speed pretty soon because that's 2 times in a row now that they've lost important farm to them. So we do see an attempted kill here on the Globe, and they'll find him. No Aegis to this Agni.
Big damage coming out the door from Tegveer right there. And Paul over in solo lane takes down Dishonored. A bit of group effort is what it's going to take down Dishonored. I love the fact that the entire team of Clocked In is respecting, hey, this is Dishonored on Bologna. We need to pay attention. We need to make sure that Dishonored doesn't really go anywhere with this pick. And with just a bit of time left in the Moonlight phase, both teams are trying to capitalize on what resources are left on the map.
Dishonored's gone for a Brawler's Beatstick first item here on the Bologna. Not something we see too often, especially on this character. Usually it's a Devourer's Gauntlet first item, but going for this item means they're going to get a lot more damage off their first or their ultimate, as well as the poke on their 3, the Scourge. It's an interesting idea here, and it is going to help with the anti-heal just a little bit against Happen.
At 9 minutes in and 3 kills above their opponents, Clocked In remain in control with a 4K lead, but no Gold Furies have been taken down just yet. How do you think we set up for our first one of the game?
I feel like it's Clocked In's decision on when they want to go towards the Gold Fury. You know, they kind of have a bit of early game. They have the Thor that can rotate out early, the Tsukiyomi that's, 3-in-1 in a really good spot. Hydrogen has this early game Neath that could be effective and just make global presence happen. So you could look for a pick in mid, and Hydrogen can still be in left lane, getting pressure. We do see them do exactly that. They'll pull the Gold Fury here, but look at Simrak. They're on the way, but I think it's too late.
Whoa, okay, Happen's able to secure it. Thank goodness. I thought that was a steal for a second, but Happen secures Gold Fury for Clocked In, and they walk away. No kills suffered, not a lot of resource taken away, but Gold Fury does go towards Clocked In. That's the biggest note here.
Yeah, for sure. Just the gold lead starting to, get a little out of control, and Cherio oversteps on this left-hand side.
Rivers Rebuke is out, and down goes Cherry. Big capitalization there from Happen, able to see, hey, Cherry's out. Let's kill him.
Oh, Globe just taking the worst end of this trade in mid. You know, you'd think that Paul would be a little nicer to the guy that subbed for him for the first 2 weeks, but Paul's saying, listen, we didn't win those first 2 weeks, so I'm going to make you suffer. But W on the way, on the backhand side, trying to flank Paul.
Paul might not have the flicker online. Yes, he does, but it won't bring him too far. W continues to press forward, but the damage coming in from Paul. He's bringing the fight to him. Look at Paul go, and Tegveer able to connect with the ult. Down goes one. The Caltrops take down another. Look at Tegveer cleaning up house with a mop and broom in hand. He's bringing the dual threat combo over here to the mid lane floors.
Max range with that ultimate, just finds one of those ticks, and that's all he needs to get that dash off. Goes right towards W, finishes off that kill, and then finds Glow. But Paul just standing strong. He is just owning on this Merlin so far. He's winning the 1v1, he's winning the 2v1, and then just Tegveer showing up late to back up their mid laner. Unlucky there for Flukas Simrak, and now all of a sudden, what do you do here? The gold lead is getting a little out of control. It's 6,000 to clocked in. Gold Fury not available, and now Dishonored might get soloed on the right-hand side, but has that sustained to stay alive with a little bit longer.
Bludgeon goes up. Dishonored's down to 100, but Karmic's not going to chase. Oh, wait a minute. Heading into the air, slamming back down. Eagles rally in response. No wall able to be used here. Wait a minute. He teleports in. He's got the wall. He's got the three. And Karmic lives. Oh, the tower is going to take him down, but it goes towards the tower.
Yeah, so no answer back there. Just assist gold towards Dishonored, not official kill gold. So definitely worth there for Karmic in winning out in that solo kill trade. And now it's a 7,000 gold lead for Clocked In. And Lucas Simrak, they need to find an answer soon, but just look at this mid pressure, man. Tier 1 tower taken down. Globe gets ulted by Hydrogen, and Tegveer's going to look to take him down here as well.
In goes Tag with the ult, but he said ult follows, but it doesn't heal enough to save Globe. Tegveer going hard behind the tier 2 tower, able to clean up one and decides to walk away. I mean, nothing's going to stop him, right? Look at the monster that Tegveer has developed to become. Look, 7-1 this early into the game. Good Lord.
Yeah, I feel like Tegveer maybe thought that they're all in commit because they had to go beads and not Aegis, that, you know, they would not lean on this Reaper. But honestly, this would have been the perfect game to lean towards that Reaper item that we saw them go last month on the Tsukiyomi. Just continue to snowball the lead. Instead, they've gone towards the Brawler's Beat Stick, realizing that they could just play the poke angle and get some extra damage off their first initial tick of the ultimate or the one from a distance. Any bit of poke will be fantastic on the Tsukiyomi with this item.
13 minutes in, 11 kills for Clocked In, and 3 for Fluka so far. A 9K gold lead for Clocked In. I mean, they are doing a great job of controlling this game as they look for another kill over here on right side. Dishonored having to use the Eagles rally to jump over the wall, but in goes Karmic, looking to dive under the tower, but the sun doesn't land, so he's going to back things up. But walking back in now that he's got reinforcements, looking for a stun, just tanking the tower so Tegveer can do his thing, but Tegveer doesn't have that damage online either. I think Dishonored's going to live through that scotch-free, but fight unfolding here on left side. Cherry, that's happened. Maybe he steps out too far in his own jungle. Whirlpool connects through twice to make sure that Happen can find safety, but the rest of Flukas make their way towards Gold Fury. Can Hydro maybe stop them, or do they go for Hydro instead?
They're looking for Hydrogen here. He could be in trouble.
Yeah, that he is. Backflip might get him to safety, but Somersault brings him forward. But W might have went a tad bit too far. Hydro goes down here. One down on each side. W is dead, though. Tegveer ult goes through, slicing and dicing through the back line. Cherry is very low on health, and Tegveer is looking for the final bit of damage needed. Into the air goes Kameka. Big damage from Tegveer. Globe's here to respond, though. Oh my God, the damage from Globe is huge. Happen is able to get to the safety of the tower, and in goes Globe for more. Globe isn't done just yet. Flame Wave followed by the burn of the dash will take down Happen. This man is on fire, literally, but Karmic might be looking to stomp out the flames as he just showed up from solo, and Karmic still chasing Globe, waiting on the wall, hammering in, and the ult comes out from Neath. But in goes the stun. Big damage, huge. Look at Karmic go there. Love to see that go down. Karmic is on fire right now, taking the fire away from Globe.
So it is a 2 for 2 at the end of the day, if I'm not mistaken. At the end of the no, I think it's a 3 for 2. But at the end of the day, Clocked In are gonna be the ones with tempo here. And they'll pull the Gold Fury, and it's gonna be free going to them. They're second of the game. Lucas Simrak, yeah, those were huge victories on the left-hand side. And Globe, I think, just not lazy backs because they're off in a good angle, but doesn't notice that Karmic TP'd in. Doesn't notice that he's walking towards him menacingly, I might add. But just stays around a little too long. Yeah, menacingly. You know, he's walking towards me menacingly.
I get it. It's funny.
Okay,
yeah. Oh no, Karmic, you gotta get out of there. Fear no evil is out, and looks like Karmic is out of there. Good hammer will get him to safety, but the rest of Fluke is Simrock. All 4 are by this fire giant, but they spread out. They realize fire would be far too ambitious right now. Pyro comes up in just a moment. The moonlight is upon us. Now could be a time to make their way towards the middle lane for that ritual, because Gold Fury's got plenty of time on cooldown.
You can see Flukus are just trying to force these little engagements. They're grouping a lot more than the likes of Clocked In are, who are just kind of spreading the map. They rotate Tagveer to right. They rotate him to left. Paul rotates to right, gets a couple kills on Dishonored. So it's just, they're trying to group a little more. And that's what you need to do against this Neath, against this Thor, is play as a 5-man unit. But speaking of 5-man unit, there's 4 people in mid lane for Clocked In, and Paul's just zoning in a 1v2.
Yeah, that's Paul. Standard Paul things. Everyone's scared of Paul. Glaze Paul, glaze Paul. That's what we do here. But hey, I mean, he's well deserving. I mean, look at him go.
He deserves it.
Pyro.
He's been owning.
Yeah. I agree with you. He is definitely on fire this game. I mean, he's third on the totem pole for player damage. 2-0-3. Hasn't died yet. Utilizing that Spear of Death so well. I think he's been on a rampage this game, with Fire Giant getting burned away by Clocked In and Fluke Sinmark on their way to try and take this down, or at least stop Clocked In from burning it. W over the wall, followed by Happens Wind Sprite, but Simrock now on the retreat. Rivers of Buke is out, locks down 2, and here come the rest of Clocked In to capitalize. Fear no evil's out, followed by the Eagles rally. In goes Dishonored. Paul takes down 1. Globe finds Tagveer, down 2 bodies on Clocked In. Looking to make it 3. Paul's getting choked out in the back line. Dishonored has his foot on his throat. Look at Dishonored go. Hydro fighting with everything he's got, but Karmic can't get there in time to save his friends. 4 bodies down for Clocked In, and Simrock just took control of that Fire Giant fight. I knew it was too good to be true.
I mean, what an ultimate from Cherry to buy some time. Globe, what a dash as well. Just realizes that they're dead to rights if they just play the long game. Dashes in forward, lands the stun. Dishonored over the wall with that ultimate. It's a great play by Karmic at the end of the day. Like, yes, 4 members die for Clocked In, but Karmic does a great job finding 2 important kills, so Flukus can't immediately turn their attention towards the Fire Giant there, but still, Flukus Simrak just outright win a fight that I thought they had no business winning. I thought Happen just won the team fight, arguably won the game in that moment with that ultimate, locking in 2 members who just did not have shell, but still, Flukus Simrak just say, okay, we're not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with us, we'll take this fight. And it's a huge one. Naga's pushing down lanes, the tier 1 and right falls, and you know, Kaveka's had a bit of a free farm on this left-hand side now. He's in a really good spot, has 3 items completed, the Rage Deathbringer, Fire Giant available, but Gold Fury going to be spawning soon. Wouldn't be surprised if Flukus Simrak just pay attention towards that objective instead, just continue to build a bit of a gold lead here and get themselves into this game.
Hydro might get zoned out there on left side. Wake shows up around the corner, but Kaveka is going to take care of things himself. Paul takes down Cherry in middle lane, though. Skirmish unfolds through there. Rivers of Buke is out, and Paul takes down Globe as well. Double kill for Paul. Clocked in control as they now have 2 bodies down for Flukus Simrak. I mean, Gold Fury's up. Fire Giant might be too ambitious here, but I wonder what Clocked In do with this.
No ADC. I'm not sure there is a lot they can do with this. Dishonored rotating on over to mid means that, you know, it's not an outright pull angle here for Clocked In. Even though Paul has good damage, objective damage on the Merlin, they can't outright pull it, but they are hovering this way because Dishonored is heading back right, W went right, and Kaveka back. So yeah, they are just going to pull this instead. They'll just take their time and pull it instead.
Yeah, I mean, and through Paul, they've got the DPS for it, but can they secure it is the question. Now that Kaveka's here, 3k health on the Gold Fury, happens still tanking it down, but Kaveka pressing up on it. Kaveka takes the aggro down to 1,000 health. Who takes it? Happen secures the Gold Fury for Clocked In. That's their third one of the game.
A little bit more damage there from the members of Clocked In. I think Kaveka actually steals that one away. Does a great knockup of knocking Happen off of the aggro pull for the objective, pulls it towards him, but immediately realizes that it's just too healthy in that moment. Can't commit the autos there. Just has to give up the objective, but still a nice little look there from Kaveka. But I mean, Flukas Simrak are just giving that objective there. W heads back to farm right, doesn't really contest there. Kaveka's the only one there. 3 Gold Fury pips going the way of Clocked In. It's only a 5,000 gold lead, sure, but I mean, Clocked In are still in control of a game that I feel like Flukas Simrak should have been able to get, wrestle control away from them from, but just a great play in mid to take down Globe and Cherry, who are on their own there. The members of Clocked In group just a little bit better, and they're continuing to group just a little bit better this game.
Pyro getting burned down, 5k health on it. And Flukas don't really have a way to contest. They're not grouped up for it. So Clocked In take this Pyro for free. After grabbing gold, I mean, they've got a lot of utilization to start melting down towers. That right side tower just fell. No more tier 1s stay up. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that Clocked In can do here. I think Fire Giant might be the place to start, though.
You see Karmic split pushing this left-hand side, so I don't think Clocked In are going to look for it just yet, though. But Hydrogen is on his own here in the right, and you can see Kaveka beelining it towards the Neath. He's likely trying to take him down, but I think Hydrogen's aware of it.
Yeah, Hydro's got to be very careful. Teleporting over, we'll get him to safety. And I think that we'll let him back at least, right?
Yeah, for sure. He'll take it back. He'll take a reset. Karmic will continue to split push left, so that's a wave that Flukas Simrak have to be aware of. But you can see they're grouped a little bit better now that they force Hydrogen to back. They're going to pull Fire Giant here with just 2 members on it.
But I wonder how fast they burn it. I wonder if the rest of Flukas can push them off. I mean, eventually they're going to have to give up the burn, right?
Oh, it's
burning
quick.
Kind of fast. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but here come Clocked In, and Wind Sprite over the wall. Rivers of Buke is out, followed by the Pyro Bomb. Paul takes down Globe, and Rivers of Buke does good damage as well. If Flukas is not grouped up very well here, Hydro takes down 1, Kaveka takes down Tegbeer, and into the back line goes Karmic. Massive stun there will keep Flukas from running away. Clocked In try and pick apart what's left of Flukas. W somersaults over the wall. Cherry is dead. Paul makes sure of it. Down go 3, and surely 4 as Kaveka is down to a sliver of health, and Karmic just needs a good wall and hammer combo to melt his health bar down. There he goes. Boom. Down goes Kaveka. 4 dead bodies for Flukas Simrak, and the Fire Giant will surely fall here.
I mean, it's just Globe on his own there. I don't know if he didn't get the memo or what, but everyone from Flukas Simrak was falling back towards the Fire Giant to play zoning closer to Kaveka and Dishonored, and Globe just gets caught in the Pyro Pit on his own, doesn't have shell, so can't get away from the Yamoja ult. It was another attempt there from Flukas Simrak to try and all in around the Yamo ult, but in that time, it just did not go their way. Globe dies too quickly. Dishonored then on his own. They do manage to take down Tegveer, sure, so it is only 4 Fire Giants on the side Clocked In when it could have been 5. As W on this left-hand side, but I can't imagine that he looks for a play on a Hydrogen. He's only level 19, and Hydrogen's still level 20 here. And working towards an Odibo, they're in a really good position with their build.
24 minutes into this game, 10 kills above their opponents, 9k gold lead, and 3 Gold Furies above everything else. Clocked In are in the lead by a long shot, but Flukas aren't giving up this game just yet. They try to defend this tier 2 tower on the left side, but don't put too much towards that defense because, yeah, I don't think it would really last that long. It's just a tower, right? But mid lane tower might be next. Looks like it's just Cherry and Globe here in middle. In goes Karmic, looking for the stun. Rivers of Buke is out, and Karmic's in the back line. Caltrops are out to deal good damage, and down goes Globe. Look at Tegbeer go, man. This guy's on a rampage. Down goes the tier 2 tower in middle, and Bird is next on the agenda for Clocked In, but will Flukas let them have it?
I feel like they can try to contest, but it is a 45. It's going to be pretty difficult. Karmic with that wall stun combo. It is tough here, and Hydrogen will take down that mid Bird, and they'll look towards the left-hand side Bird now.
1 Bird down. Let's go for 2. I like it. I like the ambitiousness, but I don't know if they walk away with it. Decent damage on the board, but Flukas are giving their everything to try and defend it away. Dishonored just about half his health. And look at Karmic on the right side, distracting the back line. Down goes that Phoenix. I mean, I don't think that Flukas were really grouped up and ready for that siege. They're just so distracted by Karmic that what else can they do? So 2 birds down, clocked in on the retreat, look to grab a couple more resources and then make their way towards the end of the game.
I mean, whenever Globe is dead, your wave clear if you're Flukas Simrak just isn't that good. No oboe for Kveka, so he can't clear those waves effectively. Really wants to be holding those crit autos specifically on gods. You know, Cherry is a full support build, so he doesn't have the damage at this stage. W's damage is kind of very all-in-y, so he doesn't want to be stepping up to the wave as well. He's a melee. He'll be taking a ton of poke. The same thing with Dishonored. There's just not a lot of wave clear if Globe is dead, and Globe has been the consistent target of Clocked In almost every fight. He has died at the start of every fight, you know, 4 or 5 times now, I feel like. And so at some point, either Globe has to get in line with the rest of Flukas Simrak, or Flukas Simrak just have to realize, guys, Globe is the target. We have to do something to try and bail him out, as Paul does have Dagger, but could get all into here by Dishonored.
Eagles rally in. Couldn't find the stun on Paul, though, thanks to Beads. And Paul is in a bit of trouble, but the rest of Clocked In don't feel so scared. In goes Tegbeer, slicing and dicing through the back line, fighting over the Moonlighter Ritual, and Clocked In still remaining in control of the fight. Hydro takes down 2. Hydro takes down 3. Look at him go. Triple kill for Hydro. We're surely going to run it down from here.
Yeah, no damage onto Tegbeer. I thought maybe he would have been the immediate target from Flukas Simrak, but just not enough damage in that moment, and Clocked In will look to end game 1 here.
Karmic goes in for the stun, followed by the hammer. Kveka giving it all they've got to try and secure this game, but Clocked In not letting off the gas pedal. 5,000 health on the Titan. Hydro cleans up 1. Hydro finds a double before the game's over. Clocked In just won game 1.
Clocked In continue to be the dominant team here at Smite Prime. Flukas Simrak, they look good, and going into games 2 and 3, or games 2 at least, for sure, hoping they go to game 3. But Flukas Simrak, they have to change the draft now. Now that some of their best picks are off the table, you know, no Tsukiyomi, no Merlin, you have to be ready, and you have to come with your best strategy here, because this is now your time if you're Flukas Simrak.
With vault bans in place, this will surely change how game 2 goes. We're going to take a quick break before we get there. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Smite Prime. Week 1 of the November circuit. Grand finals are upon us, and we are back here. My name is Morty. We've got the whole Smite Prime crew behind the scenes, and Book with me here in the booth. How are we feeling, Book?
Feeling pretty good. I mean, Clocked In, they look really, really good yet again. It doesn't seem like the 1 week break or any of the roster changes around the scene of Smite Prime have really, you know, dissuaded them from just being unstoppable and the best team, you know, on the block, so to speak. And it was a good look. Like right here is so good from Flukas Simrak. You know, this ultimate from Happen is so sick, pulling in 2 members, and it looked like the game was done and dusted. Globe dashes in, a great ult from W, Dishonored over the wall, and it was so much that went their way. Karmic, though, in my opinion, saves this game right here and now. He finds some important kills around the backhand side of it. Important members go down, so the Fire Giant isn't an avenue here for Flukas Simrak. But Clocked In, man, they still look just so good on some of their best picks.
Especially Happen on this emoji. I really loved, like, every single Rivers of Buke just felt so impactful, so like it just controlled how the fight went. I really love to see how well Happen does on this emoji pick, but this is the only game we're going to see it in. Vault bans in place. Yep. We can't see emoji anymore.
Yeah, and I like that because now the likes of Flukas Simrak also can't look for it as well. Cherry obviously so good on that Yamoja in the game we saw before this series. And so it's interesting. It creates this weird dynamic, but also I'm excited to see what else Cherio is going to play here because I feel like they didn't have the biggest impact on this E-set in particular. I feel like the ultimates were decent, but still not enough mitigations to really immune all the damage that Clocked In had this game. It's just, it was tough. And I'm excited to see if Cherio can play something that just kind of creates space by way of presence. You know, something like the Ymir, something like maybe Kabrakan, I don't know.
something more in your face and more CC oriented, less so the utility style that we just saw him play.
Yeah, I like that because that's usually where Cherry does most. He does, he's the most impactful. So I like that idea. I wonder if he's going to be getting his hands on these picks because, well, Ymir wasn't banned last time, but Cherry has had Ymir banned against them before. And now that vault bans are in place, they're not as worried about the other picks that we just saw, like the Tsukiyomi or Merlin or Yamoja. Maybe there's room to ban away Ymir or something like that from Cherry. But I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get into picks and bans.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm kind of curious now because I feel like now that Flukas have side selection, they can go towards Ordicide, go for the first pick. You have to be a little wary of what Clocked In are going to ban away. Are they going to target out the Ymir? Are they going to look to trade Soul Laners with Jormungandr and Osiris, who are both still available? Or are wow, I just blanked on their name completely. Cherio's team is going to just... no, the other side. Cherio's team are they going to prioritize one of the Soul Laners?
Flukas Simrock up against Locked In here at we're going to get into the picks and bans here for game 2 right here, right now. That way you don't forget the names. All right, here.
It helps when it's just right in front of me. I can see it. It's right there.
I get the same way.
It's such an odd name as well that it's hard to remember. Like Flukas Simrak. Like it's hard to remember the exact like phrasing behind it. I guess that it's such an odd name, but already off the table. Not going to give Tegvir the Achilles. That makes perfect sense to me.
To also help with the argument there, it doesn't help that for some reason we love to change our names like every month. Like it's like the same team. Like let's change our names. Why not? We'll change our names. We'll change our names. And even like players love to change their names pretty often too. You know, it's a comp player more than me that I'm all about these name changes and identity crisis. I don't want to be this or that anymore. So it doesn't help. But yeah, Achilles banned away. Artemis joining the ban list as well. So that takes away from Hydro and Kaveka. So Jing Wei is off the table. I mean, a lot of carry picks being thrown away here.
Yeah, Uller banned away once again as well. That's another pick that both Paul and Hydrogen, even Tegvir really like. So a great ban here. I'm kind of curious if On Her is the look for as a ban for Flukas Simrak. You know, we kind of talked about, is it going to be a trade of soul lanes here between these two teams? Clocked In have the option here. Actually, no, Flukas Simrak have the option. So they can either ban away something completely irrelevant, see if Clocked In decide to ban away one of the soul laners, or it is going to be an outright trade here. Instead, they go for the Scylla ban, taking that one away from Happen. And Happen's looked really comfortable on this pick as of late, so I really like it. I like this option here to take away one of Happen's more comfortable picks. He was the MVP last circuit for a reason. He's been really good on this roster, so I love that they've taken away this aggressive, in-your-face style support that, you know, he kind of just played on the Yamoja. He played it very similarly to that style. And all right, here we go. Jormungandr first overall for Flukas Simrak.
That's a big pick. And we're also taking that away from Karmic, who is like the pioneer of Yorm and Smite Prime, right? So I like that we're taking this away from Karmic. And also, Dishonored's pretty comfortable on this Yorm. So I like seeing this here. Hecate, which we haven't seen all day so far, now joining the fray, potentially going towards Paul, and Baron probably going towards Happen.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised now that I look on it. Like, we banned Scylla. The Happen's not going to be able to play that, sure, but now we've given Happen one of his more recent, you know, picks that have thrived very effectively, the Baron Samedi. And ooh, I love this as an option here from Flukas. Take away Hydrogen's, you know, next best god here, taking away the On Her. This is going to give them pressure in this lane as well. I love this avenue here that Flukas Simrak have taken, but Cuckoo Khan?
Okay, well, you know, honestly, I feel like I would have liked to see this pick last game because you've got Rivers of Butte to help line things up and let the Spirit of the Nine Winds connect more frequently. You're going to have to kind of like freehand some of these. I don't know how well this is going to go. At worst, this is your objective secure tool, which I respect the heck out of. I mean, I think the Fire Giants, Gold Furies will always go your way. If whoever gets this Kukulkan pick, one, builds the damage that you need to, you know, let it do damage to secure. And two, you know, you're able to position yourself and keep your eyes on the objective close enough to where, like you're going to know when to throw it out at all times. So I respect this. I don't mind the Kukulkan pick here. Susanna and Cupid joining the fray, a lot of AoE on the side of Clocked In.
Yeah, so far so good. Lots of AoE. And just going back to this Kukulkan pick real quick, this tells me that Flukas Simrek are trying to wait and see what members of Clocked In lock in here before they go for their final 2 picks. And so far, it's looking good for it. And I'm curious, is W going to go back towards the Odin, which is available to them? No, instead it's a Pele. I feel like this was such a good Odin game here. I feel like this is such a good avenue to go towards the Odin. You jump in, you're dying, sure, because there's a Cupid on the other side, but Hecate can only get out through the portal. Baron Samni's getting trapped in those walls. Susano can't get out of those walls. Cupid can't get out of those walls. I feel like this was the perfect Odin game here for W, who we've seen piloted it so well. Why not go towards it yet again?
We are full of hot picks this game. Okay, so Kepri for Cherry, Pele's in the jungle. We haven't seen Pele in a hot minute. Kukulkan for Globe, which Globe likes to take these like non-meta picks and make them look meta. I respect Globe for that. I like Globe's just freedom of using whoever rather than like, oh, every single Twitch streamer and YouTuber says I should be playing these 3 mid laners. Like, nah, Globe just plays who he wants. So I respect that. Hecate goes towards Paul. Hecate's pretty scrappy. You've got Cupid for Hydro. That's really unlike Hydro in my eyes. I feel like Hydro's always been more of a hyper carry rather than a team fight player, but change my mind. I dare you. Herc's here as well. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I want to touch on the Cupid real quick because I do believe it's one of Hydrogen's more later picks now that we're kind of deep in the god pools. A lot of picks off the table, you know, Uller, Artemis, Jingwei, Neith, all these characters are just gone and taken away here. So even Agni as well. So Hydrogen has really had to dig deep into the god pool. And this is a pick that he's chosen into a counter matchup of the Onher. Onher going to have that CCU ultimate to just avoid the fields of love. And so it is Hydrogen saying, look, I'm not playing for the lane. I'm playing for team fights. We have so much AoE. We have all the CC set up in the world here. The question for me is, where's the damage going to come from? And I think there's just so much CC on the side of Clocked In. You're going to really rely on Tegvir's damage going into the mid to late game because of just how much CC you have. You need the damage to come from somewhere. And it is going to be Paul. It is going to be Hydro, but it's not going to be the same extent as, say, a Yanis or another Burst Mage.
Well, the question remains, will we see game 3 or will Clocked In shut down that opportunity now as we dive into game 2 of the finals here in week 1 of the November circuit? My name's Morty. I'm here with Book. We've got the whole Smite Prime crew behind the scenes, and we're getting things kicked off here as no first blood just yet, but Dishonored and Karmic are throwing bows over here.
Yeah, and this is what we kind of expect between these two soul laners who have kind of played against each other for a hot minute now. Dishonored and Karmic have been longtime members of the amateur scene, and so seeing these two go up against each other yet again, it's, you know, a little bit of respect between these two. Is Karmic going to disrespect entirely and just blink past him to get to the wave?
That's aura. That's probably the most aura far. That is the most W aura thing I've ever seen in Smite Prime. Did you see the disrespect he just threw on to Dishonored's name? You want to name your team after me and not expect me to disrespect you? Nah, that's Karmic right there. I love that.
Especially because Dishonored kind of played that really well. You know, realized that Karmic is trying to walk towards the lane, just going to zone him out with his damage. And you can see Dishonored has a ton of damage at this stage. So just free damage away from the minion wave would have been great when going into the minion wave. So Dishonored just did a really good job zoning there. Karmic having to use that relic early, sure, but he's not going to use it in the next couple minutes. And Cherio, I think, snatched that one away there.
Disperse in. Kveka looking for maybe a good impale, but couldn't find it there. Cherry not wanting to engage on the lockdown just yet. Saving of Duct for a rainy day. But W fighting it out here with Tegvir by the neutral camps on the left side.
Oh.
And look at the damage go from Tegvir. Slice it and dice in there. W is surely in trouble and decided to go for the camps instead of the kill. Paul pressing forward and soaks a bit of damage to the whirlwind, but the basics hitting hard from Paul.
Ooh, Globe forced Aegis there, but I didn't think he was scared that Paul was just gonna, you know, hit that one. Beads forced by Tegvir, but he's gonna continue this chase, trying to lock down Paul. Or sorry,
W. Can't find first blood though. That'll go from Cherry to Happen, who finds first blood in duo. Maybe second blood almost suffered there. Second blood suffered a duo though. Hydro takes down Kveka. Man, Clocked In or locked it over here in duo.
Yeah, just already off to a great start here for Clocked In, and this is kind of the issue of what I saw when I saw Cuckoo locked in is it's a mid god, sure, but it's one that wants to sit back and farm. And we saw what happened when you let Paul just play against a character that wants to sit back and farm. Paul plays at your tower line and doesn't let you breathe for a second. He takes all of the neutral farm because you're under your tower, forced to clear wave secondary to the mid mage of Paul. It is, this Cuckoo is not going to be able to play the game for a hot second here. Already forced to use that relic as well. Means they have to be extra careful against the Susano.
Extra careful indeed. Take Viewer is very comfortable on this Susano pick, and seeing him back on, especially here in game 2 where some of these other players are on resource picks, right? Take Viewer is comfortable. Take Viewer knows this Susano pick very well. So I am not surprised to see him be so dominant so early with a lot of damage out the board as W tries to fight back up against Susano over here in right side. But gonna leave the fight to Dishonored instead, who's an early game monster. Look at him go.
I love this, as we do use the Spirit of the Nine Winds just to confirm those rock elementals. Love that as well. You're not going to be fighting here for a bit. You want to spend some time farming your mid 2v2. Speaking of farming, Happen gets farmed to the left-hand side.
Fields of Love is out, and looks like Kaveka might be in trouble. Beads into the disperse, might try and find the knockup, but Hydro's able to dash to safety and not want to continue that fight. I cannot blame Hydro for that, but great stuff there from Flukas, trying to find a way back into the fight over here in the left side after losing 2 bodies so early. Seeing Kaveka come out on top with a kill is very heartening.
And we haven't gotten a chance to touch on it yet, but this Khepri pick, it's an execution play pick. You pluck someone and you're using Spirit of the Nine Winds and on her ultimate, but Cherry could get executed here himself. Has no ultimate just yet.
Desert Fury's out to try and get some damage on the Hydro in the backfield into the disperse to find the knockup, but no kill found from there. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this Khepri pick. I made a face in Picks and Bans. I don't know if you picked up on it, but I love Khepri. Is he good? He's all right. Is he a fun character to use? Is he like, just fun to have in general on your team? Like revives can go crazy. Yeah, for sure. The revive can not always work in your favor depending on positioning of the fight and everything else, kind of forcing Cherry to be a backline support, because if you're W keying and then you revive someone, you're just bringing their low health body to the enemy team. So it doesn't really work like that. But if you're able to adapt to the playstyle, Cherry, I think that this Khepri pick could be make or break for how Clocked In are able to take care of this team.
I remember watching Cherio way back when in I believe it was season 5. He swapped to support then in the SPL once upon a time, and this was a pick that he went towards fairly often here. So Cherio fairly comfortable on this Khepri pick, but has to be aware that it's a little bit different. Has gone towards the aspect, so not going to be a pluck pull, just going to be a pluck and then root them in place, and still can play that execution style that once you pluck someone, follow up with the damage, and there is plenty of damage to spare on the side of Flukas Simrak here, as Dishonored forced ult on the right-hand side.
Into the World Serpent he goes, looking for knockups, causing disruption, and trying to find safety from there, going after the Firebrands. Here comes the rest of Flukas. Here comes Globe, open the gates, doesn't connect. Oh, the Beads is forced away, though. Big Beads pull from W, as he's forced to take one resource off the map, and now both teams go back to their side with Firebrands being down. Let's go farm up some camps and talk about this later.
Kaveka has to be careful here on the left-hand side, as we do hit bedtime, as I believe here Cherio is hovering in mid. I don't think the rest of the members of Clocked In are aware of it. He's trying to look for a Beads pull onto Paul, but Paul doesn't have it. He's going to try and pull Aegis more than likely.
Into the mid lane, Whirlwind is out. Spirit of the Nine Winds doesn't connect, but in goes W with the knockup to try and chase down Paul, who's in a bit of a rough spot here. In goes the Volcanic Rush, but can't find too much damage. Paul still A-OK, hits the Mez, hits the 2, and
Gold
W
Fury
suffering a good amount of damage here. Gold Fury now getting taken away by Clocked In. Both members of Duo Lane are going to take that off the map, and Flukas know no better.
Nope, there's nothing they can do. They have the members committed in mid. They just committed almost all of their ultimates there. No Spirit of the Nine Winds to steal that one away. Only a Sunder on Cherio, but he's nowhere close. And so Gold Fury going to go the way of Clocked In. Not much of a response from Flukas Simrak. They do get the Aegis off of Paul, but maybe like to see W pay a bit of attention towards the Hecate mid now that she's a little more vulnerable to this Pele option. And do want to note, because this is the idea, is W wants to play all in onto someone on the back line
and Cherio just throws the ult on him and says, good luck, have fun. I'll see you in whether you live or die, that's up to you. So I like this combo that they've gone for, but is the execution going to be the play? You know, I feel like W could have committed right then and there, or Cherio could have thrown the ult a little bit sooner, and then W can fully commit, because I believe the ult still gives a little bit of movement speed, if I'm not mistaken. So just playing a little more fast and loose is, I think, what Flukas Simrak need to do here.
Let's put it all on the line, right? This is your potentially last opportunity, should Clockton come out on top, to win this week 1 matchup. I mean, number 2 is still not a bad spot, but hey, Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. So that's what you need to be gunning for Flukas. Put everything you've got, all the cards you've got in your deck, put them on the table, and fast and loose, I think, is the perfect way to describe it. I love to see that gameplay, especially from W, who's very versatile, very mobile around the map. Kind of reminds me of Scream's gameplay. It just kind of seems to be everywhere. And fighting for this mid lane pressure here, going after those neutral camps on the left side. Cherry's looking for a lockdown. Abduct comes through, forces him into the whirlwind, and Globe is able to find the kill. Big damage coming through. Paul takes down W though on the left side, and Tegbeer with just a sliver of health gets melted down. The revive's in, and maybe that saves a life for Dishonored. Not even needed. Dishonored lives through it. Big fight there for Flukas, who just came out on top and maintained control of the Moonlight Ritual.
Cherry with that ultimate over the wall. Cherry just makes all of this happen here. Is now Karmic in a world of hurt here as well.
And World Serpent will take down Karmic. The boulder is out, and Cherry able to hit the Caprexecute.
Wow.
Big damage coming through for the Khepri. That's why we take that aspect, baby.
I mean, it's just a pluck execution play on to happen. You know, all the damage from Globe's Whirlwind connects on to happen there. Then, you know, Kaveka over the wall gets that ultimate off. The spear as well into the wall. So just CCing happen till he's dead. Right-hand side, W and Dishonored looking for a 2v2 trade. You know, Paul over the wall with that ultimate, just, you know, trying to help out their jungler. Tegveer then takes the portal back into danger, though, because the rest of Flukas Simrak were there. And then an ult over the wall from Cherio keeps their soul laner alive, can just stand around and say, yeah, if you hit me, I'm going to die, but I'm going to get revived with more HP. And so Clock didn't hesitate. And then Karmic overcommits and just ends up spilling. And Flukas Simrak off to a great start. They have a gold lead here, despite being down, I believe, Gold Fury for sure, but I believe a Pyro. No, Pyromancer as W getting looked at here.
Firebrands are on the table. Clockton want to keep control of those. The ult forced out from Tegbeer. Open the gates, connects, and finds Globe. Globe is pulled there, dashes out through the whirlwind. And yeah, he's going to find safety from there, but Cherry in a bit of trouble as well. Life of the party forced out, no Abduct to bring Cherry to safety. He's stunned, but will he die here? Trying to put on the juice shoes and trying to find safety, but won't find it today. W just a tad bit late to try and save their friend, and that's just how it goes, man. That's just the unfortunate trade of being Khepri. Without that dash, you are a sitting duck, or a beetle, I guess.
Your middle tower
Still had some little nice jukes there, here and there, but yeah, I feel like W just needs to get on the same page as everyone else, or everyone else needs to get on the same page as W. They wanted to contest those Firebrands. It's happened now. Going to take a spill. I believe they did. Yes, they got the red buff there, so it is a successful invade, but they pay for it with their life.
So Flukas kind of seemed to be just showing up now. I mean, I really thought this was going to be another W game for Clocked In, as they were in control early, but Flukas are taking advantage of this Vault Band system. They've got a couple more comfy gods under their belts, and they look like they're in control.
Ooh, speaking of in control, Globe looking for a solo kill, but no, he's going to take this build because Tegbeer is here first.
Fear of the 9 wins, almost cleaned up though. Wait a minute, the 2 hit, but the magic shield will make sure that Paul stays alive. That was a clutch magic shield. Just when you thought that Cherry was going to take control there, that was a pretty nice way to go about things for Paul. But the fight unfolds over here on left side. Just a Fury's out to try and knock away the Fields of Love stun. In goes W to clean up on Hydro, and down he goes. Another kill for W means that Flukas might make their way towards Gold Fury, but happens here though.
No, I don't think they can commit to Gold Fury just yet. No mid laner means that a lot of their objective burn is off the table here. I mean, I don't fully understand that play from Globe there. I wonder if he thought that Cherio was in range to ult him there. Maybe didn't expect Paul to just outright ult him under the tower, and that's exactly what happened. Doesn't have bead, so can't avoid that big ultimate CC. So unlucky there for Globe, but I mean, at least it's a trade. Great play from Kaveka at the end of the day. As another great play on the right-hand side from W.
Karmic not looking too good on right side. Thanks to the help of W and Dishonored, we're both able to take him out. I've been wondering about that matchup and how it's been going since, I mean, we saw it obviously Dishonored earlier in the game and Karmic disrespecting with the blink, you know, out of nowhere. But we haven't really looked at it too much there. There's been so much action throughout the map since that point. It's been hard to keep our eyes over there. Open the gates, connects, and Spirit of the Nine Winds follows. The revive is here, and Cherry coming in clutch with that revive. The life of the party follows. Glow able to dash out of there, but Cherry might be giving up his life for this. But look at Dishonored over the left side. It's the solar flare. Abduct follows, and there's the 2. Cherry hit a perfect combo, but not a lot of follow-up from them in that time. That's just unfortunate there. Tegbeer able to clean up on Dishonored as well. 2 bodies dead for Felucas. Here comes the boulder to look for W. Able to dash out, hits the knockup. Volcanic rush back in. W wanting to fight this out. W comes out alive. No, he doesn't. The knockup from Karmic will make sure that he falls, but the fight continues to unfold. Kaveka goes in with the disperse and able to hit the impale as well. The pillar will separate him from Karmic.
Oh no, Bana.
Kaveka's just looking to fight with his life here. Sunbeam back online. Globe can't hit the whirlwind, and Karmic's still alive here in middle lane. And look at Hydro making his way in. This is an arena game here in middle lane.
Yeah, so much action and still looking for more. Karmic and Hydrogen on the way, but a great pillar. No, Karmic blinks over, looking for more, but can't find it.
No, that was very ambitious, my friend. That would have been so clutch if it went down, but, you know, just a tad bit too much invested into that play. Yeah, he got a bit of farm out of it, I guess. He's almost got a red buff, but decides to walk away from Globe. He respects the damage that whirlwind can do. Along with the poly proc from Globe, that is going to hurt.
Yeah, for sure. And do you want to know, I mean, just unfortunate from Dishonored and Cherio. They're trying to, you know, look for that play there in mid, try and kill off Happen, but just not enough damage between these 2 characters. Honestly, probably for most of this game. I mean, Dishonored leaning for a bit of damage, yeah, but not going to be enough to take down a support Baron at this stage. So just unlucky there. But a great rotation from Kaveka and W as well. Saves that fight, kind of leans it a little more towards Felucas Simrak, and 14 minutes in, we're kind of even here, and still pressure from Felucas Simrak as they're grouped on this left-hand side, gonna take down the tier 1, and 4 members are available. They could look to pull the Gold Fury here. I'd like to see them do it sooner rather than later. Yeah, the Kepri's still scaling, but you've been winning fights now. Let's force these objectives.
Gold Fury being looked at by Felucas Simrak. Hanging out over here is clocked in. They're aware, I'm sure they know, but I don't think they're comfortable with just walking up willy-nilly. They need to play this very carefully as the burn begins from Felucas. Look at Dishonored over here on the left side next to Hydro, trying to keep Hydro from making his way over there. Kaveka continuing the burn, clocked in, slowly but surely make their way over. Whirlwind damage definitely helps out on the burn, but who's he going to go to? Kaveka's able to secure it for Felucas. And let's see if a fight unfolds from here. If Felucas walk forward, not only do they want Gold Fury, but they want some kills on top of that, but clocked in, not going to give them anything else to work with.
That was a nice play by Cherio. Realizes that they have good secure on their backliners. Maybe not enough secure over, say, Happen Sunder, but still uses that Wind Sprite to jump in, play the zoning angle, because realizes that Dishonored isn't there right then to zone for the objective. That rotation will cost Felucas their right tier 1 tower, and Karmic will get themselves back in terms of experience, even with the likes of Dishonored, and look for a blue buff invade as well.
Hey, when you're in the neighborhood, stop and smell the roses. I love to see this from Karmic, just utilizing everything that's on the map to try and get a lead over your opponents, because every little bit of gold counts. Every bit of experience matters going into this mid-game phase, where skirmishes will determine who comes out on top when the late game comes around. This is when the mini team fights emerge, right? Not the big team fights, you know, over Fire Giant, all 10 bodies, ultimates thrown across the board, but these mini skirmishes like one that we're about to see. Life of the Party does bring Happen to safety, finds the stun on Cherry, but on the right side, in goes Globe, looking at a piece of heart Tegbeer, but can't hit that basic needed. Tegbeer able to put on the juke shoes, and dance his way out of there, and Globe might pay for it with his life. The egg is forced away, but Dishonor's over the wall, looking for the lockdown. Cherry hits the abduct into the whirlwind, and looks like Karmic might fall here. Big knockup brings Cherry in a bad spot, though. Mighty block into the Fields of Love, and the Stampede will get Cherry to safety. That's a W counterplay item, by the way. I love to see Stampede up against Cupid players.
Yeah, I feel like the Stampede does so much work here in general against the Baron Samedi, against the Cupid as well. Kaveka has to be careful here he doesn't get picked off, because members of Flukas, they're not really grouping the same way Clocked In are.
Nah, that was a nasty knockup, but no driving strike to follow. Desert Fury forced out so he doesn't get pulled by the open the gates. Maintaining control of the Moonlight Ritual, going after this tier 1 tower. Clocked In are starting to control this mid game a tad bit better than the early game. But Dishonored maybe chasing for a kill to try and find one on Karmic. Does find the knockup over here by the Moonlight Ritual. Oh no, Globe just got knocked up. Excavate follows, big damage being put on to Globe, and Dishonored catching a lot of focus right here. He's able to get into the World Serpent, and no, he's diving in? Nah, I mean, he's playing pretty careful because there is a revive from Cherry here, but Cherry can't revive if he dies. Be careful of the tower. He has to revive himself to make sure that he stays alive. Kaveka dashes in. Cherry's on the back foot with no health or mana to work with, and Dishonored investing in a fight that isn't worth investing in. No ROI here, buddy. Down goes Yorm. 4 dead bodies for Flukas, and Cherry, with nowhere to go, will fall next. The entire team of Flukas Simrock has been butchered to pieces, and looks like Clocked In have the whole map at their disposal.
Fire Giant available for Clocked In, and Flukas Simrock, they looked so good initially, and then I think they just overcommit a little too much to force that fight. They don't even get the tier 1 in mid in that moment, and I think that's a big part of it, is just focusing out that tower that didn't end up falling. So they're taking tower shot damage in that fight as well. I feel like it's just a bit of an overcommit that didn't need to be forced exactly in that moment. I know you want to get value out of Dishonored's ultimate, but it costs you so much. Globe dying at the start of that fight again, similar to last game, just unlucky. And it was a 4v5. Hydrogen was pushing left the whole time.
Karmic chasing after Globe. Spirit of the Night wins, finds a little knockup, but it won't stop Karmic from W King forward. Able to find 2 more kills. Down go W and Globe into the World Serpent. Dishonored trying to distract the back line. Kaveka by himself up here. Cherry looking to play back and maybe hit a res if needed, but there is no revive online. But Cherry just dashed in and missed the dash. Dishonored by himself under that tier 2. Clocked In, continue to press forward. Tegvir's got a dagger and he got a body on Kaveka. Down goes Dishonored as well. Another aside this quick? No way, Cherry. You gotta get out of there.
I don't think he's gonna be able to. Paul gonna find that one. It's another deicide, and again, it's another 4v5. Hydrogen wasn't there the whole time. He back to base. He was pushing down mid, you know, on his way with his little wee legs as Cupid, but still just couldn't get there in time. And now it's gonna be a Phoenix Siege here for Clocked In. Feels like Flukas Simrock have just lost complete control of this game.
Oh, the nasty knockup. Oh my god, the knockup is disgusting from Karmic. I'm sick to my stomach right now. Look at Clocked In march their way towards the Titan. They're going to stop Flukas from making it to game 3. They're putting it away right here. W scared to even go in. He hits the knockup, but Fields of Love is out, and down he goes in the blink of an eye. Dishonored here for the knockup, but what can Simrock do to stop Clocked In from locking in this sub? Wait a minute. Dishonored's doing a good job. He's hitting knockups. He's stopping Clocked In. They might have what it takes. Hydro's on the back foot. Dishonored's by the Titan, and Clocked In have a lot of low health bars to look at. Abduct connects, and Cherry's able to find some lockdown, but the knockup follows through. Look at Karmic go. This dude is a monster on the Hercules.
Man, Clocked In had it. I think they thought they had it too, but just enough CC to keep the likes of Clocked In off of the Titan room. It resets from, like, I think less than 1,000 HP to over 12k, and Clocked In then cannot commit too much damage from Flukas. They keep the game alive. The tier 2 towers do so much work as well that are still available to keep the Titan healthy. I mean, Flukas Simrock, they don't lose the game, but it is still a tall task to get themselves back into this game.
Dude, that might be the best Yormold I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, that was probably the most like disruptive, like hit the most people with 3 knockups Yormold in history in Smite 1 and 2 existence. Like, that was clutch. That was extremely clutch, and just saved Flukas from losing their shot at a game 3 in this set. Shout out to Dishonored. That's my GOAT. I mean, if you've ever wanted to match up to a beast like Karmic, Dishonored's the guy to do it. That was tremendous. But the game is still going. So let's think about where we're at. I mean, Clocked In have done so much to control this game, and Flukas just lost 2 team fights in a row before that Titan Room defense. They've got to find a way to creep back into this.
Yeah, you can see Flukas are trying to split the map right now. 2 members in left, Dishonored's trying to pull members in right. But look, a 3-man grouping in mid, they might look to just end the game. Globe got pulled back in. Globe dead again.
But going back here, no, Cherry's surely going to fall here.
Oh, the body
looking
blocks.
for a way to get out of it. Oh, he's body blocking in. Dude, Cherry he has an agenda right now. Look at Kaveka able to follow through. Look at the damage from Kaveka, but Karmic's soaking it up. Desert Fury in response. Open the gates, brings them to safety. Knockup from Spirit of the Nine wins. Might try and find a kill on Karmic.
Okay.
Oh, Karmic couldn't live through it all. Just when you thought he was getting out there, Tech Fury able to find revenge on W, though, and Dishonored making his way back to the Titan Room to defend what's left of it from Clocked In as they continue to press forward. Even though they're down Karmic, Flukas are still down W.
I mean, I get it. Like, you feel so confident if you're Karmic. You've just been unkillable now. You're hitting all the plucks. You're hitting all the pushes. But, like, why are we just going right down mid there? I mean, Globe dies, sure, but Globe's died a lot this game already. You aren't worried about your Kukulkan dying at this point. You just want him to hopefully stay alive and find some farm when he's back up. But I don't know, man. I feel like Clocked In may have just lost the plot a little bit there and tried to force something they didn't need to. They lose an important member. That was a big shutdown on a Karmic, and Kaveka hits level 20. Wake still trying to farm here now, and I would like to see this Pele just pick a lane and just spend some time farming. Wake has to get themselves in this game, because you saw there, after they killed Karmic, Wake ults W ults towards, Susano and just instantly dies. Just gets popped and has this Reaper as well that really just hasn't gotten a lot of value.
So, Clocked In, march down to right. Kaveka's by himself up there on left side. Not a lot of mana for him to work with either. Sunbeam Bow melted that through. And W, taking over this red buff, is Clocked In, march their way towards that Fire Giant. Let's see what the opposition looks like from Flukas.
I don't think they can contest. I feel like with Kaveka on this left-hand side, you just have to give this Fire Giant here. Clocked In are going to get it and likely just run it down mid here, because that mid bird has just respawned. Kaveka likely has to back here, but I don't even know if you can contest this mid bird at this stage. It's way too low.
Dishonored on the back foot. The rest of Flukas go back for what's going to be surely their Alamo of a defense, their final stand here in their own Titan Room. And in goes Clocked In, all 5 on that bird, and down it goes. What is next for them? Looks like they're here. Oh, the knockup lands. He just picked one. Excavate follows, but the revive in for Cherry. Can he save Globe's life here? Looks like he can. Karmic still continuing the chase in the back line. Couldn't find the knockup from there. And Dishonored's in the back trying to distract. Globe barely able to get out of there, but Kaveka is down in response. Spirit of the Nine wins follows. And look at everything that's going down here. Cherry is getting picked apart piece by piece. This whole team is just spread out here. Flukas have no idea what to do, and Clocked In just continue to rampage throughout the map. Look at W in the back line trying to maybe pick apart a squishy for Clocked In. There's the Spirit of the Nine wins, and Dishonored distracting as much as he can, but nothing distracts Clocked In from victory lane. Open the gates, is out. Dishonored is dead. DS side and a W for Clocked In. Congratulations to the winners of Game 2 of the finals. Clocked In just cashed it in.
Clocked In just continue to be the best team on the block here, and I don't know, man, just unfortunate sequence of events there. Globe goes towards the Aegis when I think they really needed beads that game. I'm not gonna lie, it feels bad to go, the beads against the Susano, but there's a Hecate ult, there's the Herc that's pushing you the entire game. That is a tough one there, but congrats to Clocked In continuing to dominate here at Smite Prime.
Such a close game. I had a lot of hope for Simrock right there, but it is what it is. Good try, my friends. We're going to talk a little bit more about this game after we take a quick break, and I think we have a giveaway to go over as well, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Smite Prime. We just finished up week 1, and we're going to talk about what we just saw. My name's Morty. I've got Spirited Book with me here in the booth, and we're going to take a look at the replay of what we just saw in Game 2 of the Grand Finals, where Clocked In emerged victorious.
Yeah, I mean, just what a great performance from this team. And it's just a composition that just creates chaos. You know, this Hecate ultimate, Karmic on the Hercules with the push pulls, just so much displacement CC from everyone on this team. The pulls from Tegvir, the pulls from Happen with that ultimate, Hydrogen with lockdown CC, sure, but everyone else has displacement CC. And there's just nothing Flukas can do about it. You saw in that final fight, they were just so split up everywhere in that fight. And it's just not a whole lot they can do in this game.
Yeah, I feel like the team fighting phase is where Flukas started to fall apart. They did good when it came to skirmishing. They did even pretty good in the early game, but as soon as it came to these like full-fledged team fights, that's when Clocked In started to fall apart. That and Karmic just being an absolute beast in the back line, hitting so many knockups. He might have went a little too far, like in this instance right here, but for the most part, he was just the unkillable like CC tank in these fights. It was so cool to see.
Yeah, but look at this fight here. You can see Yorm all the way over there on the right. So is W. In Kaveka was just way off there in no man's land. Cherio had to spend their time, you know, just solo peeling for Globe there, who was just, again, game number 2. They were the target of Clocked In. They were very clearly the one that was focused this entire game, and that's because of the relic choice. Aegis picked up when I think they just should have gone towards the beads. Even Kaveka went towards the beads here, and he has a CC Immune ultimate.
It's just so wild to see. I mean, this was like, I really thought it was close. For a long time, it was close. And then just out of nowhere, they just showed up and took control. I mean, Clocked In, showing that they are the kings. They run this game.
Yeah, for sure. And it's off the back of just solo mechanical performances, out drafting. I feel like Clocked In just win drafts a lot of the time. You just cannot draft well against them because they'll always get some of their best picks. I mean, Tegvir on Sasano was, you know, a mainstay for a long time. Paul picking up the Hecate kind of recently and has done very, very well on this pick. Karmic loves the Hercules. And this is, you know, game 2 of our vault system. So, like, some of their best picks are already off the table and they're still looking this strong.
Well, for those of you who have been here with us for the long run, you know about the giveaway that we've been doing all day. We're about to announce it right here. And congratulations to, drumroll please, book. It is Juice #1 fan. Assuming that means Juice, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that sounds, you know, there's no UI, but I feel like that's the same vibe. So yeah, I think that's exactly who it is. Juice #1 fan for sure is going to be your winner here of the Cupid skin. So congrats to you, my man.
I wonder if you're a fan of like apple juice or orange juice or maybe even like Juice World. Like, I don't know. There's like a number of things I could go towards.
Yeah, there's like a tier list out there for sure of which juice is the best. And if it's not apple juice in S tier, I don't know what you're doing. As we get a chance to look at the replays throughout the day, Smite 2 Bad Boys versus Glurp was our first matchup. And Smite 2 Bad Boys, they looked kind of back in form to me. But, I mean, just losing out in the second round, unfortunate. Still a little rocky in some places. And I feel like this Smite 2 Bad Boys team is a team to watch just in terms of, do they make any changes in the coming weeks? Because I feel like they're starting to kind of lose their edge a little bit as the meta kind of changes just a little bit more. I don't know, man. Just a team to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I agree with that. SEAL Team Snakes, definitely a team that I want to watch out for more as well, because bringing this kind of fight to retirement home does not come easy. This was definitely a big thing for SEAL Team Snakes. Even if they were the losers in this match, this is the closest they've come to winning a game so far. That's what I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like it's just about, you know, as these players kind of progress and make their way through these brackets, it's about, you know, just kind of keeping calm, being mentally strong in games like that, because you can tell they got just overexcited, pulled a 15-minute fire giant, and then just outright lost that toss up, and then kind of lost the game immediately after from that.
We just did get a confirmation in the chat that Juice #1 fan. His buddy's name is Juice.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So he's got a friend.
He's got a friend named Juice, and he's his #1 fan. That's pretty. You know what? That's kind of wholesome. I like that.
That's sweet. Really brings the tear into my eye. Sniff. Sniff.
Okay, yeah, sure. Can really feel the emotion from you in that moment. More, I, really just bought into it. Like, I'm giving you the Oscar right now. Here you go. Can you just give us a quick speech? Like, who do you want to thank? Yeah.
Sniff. Oh, I'm just kidding. Okay. Here's the last matchup of the day. Flukas, Simrock, and Clocked In. This was a wild game. I really thought Flukas were going to pull this one out in the second game, and I think Clocked In took control when the team fight phase showed up, and Flukas were not ready for that. Their team comp in general was not ready for that. Clocked In was ready. But I think it starts, you know what it is really? Flukas didn't really have an engage on this team. If you look at their team comp, who starts their fights? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's either W who's ulting in and then getting a knock up onto multiple people, or it's Cherio with that committal pluck, and then he's not able to then cast that ultimate when they engage back. It's Dishonored going in with the 3. Doesn't really want to do that because then he puts himself in a bad spot. Yeah, I agree. I think the lack of engage there was really tough for the side of Flukas Simrak. As Clocked In again, just make their way through the bracket as the winners. Prod's College Fund, though, they take third place down there in that third place matchup against Retirement Home. That is interesting, though, because remember, Retirement Home's the team of ex-SPL players, the 3 soul laners on the same team. I'm interested to see if this Prod's College Fund Crusaders continue to just perform throughout this circuit.
Let's take him to Harvard. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even think Smite Prime money would take you to Harvard. But hey, anything close, right? I mean,
anything
we'll
but
settle
community
for
college,
more. Hey, I can't talk. I didn't go to college, so. All right, so we're going to wrap things up there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this week of Smite Prime. Shout out to the whole Smite Prime crew. Shout out to Book for joining me here in the booth. And most importantly, shout out to the viewers who were here from noon Eastern today. And we'll be back noon Eastern next week, Saturday, here on Smite Prime and Smite Game, twitch.tv. Do not miss it. We'll see you all next week. Thanks, y'all.